amazing. It was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Water.
For the first time here for season 3. Davis on pole, Vandergren in second. It's going to be sprint round action here tonight. Let's go racing here at Daytona. It was a good start there from Davis in comparison to Vandergren in behind. Cowan's absolutely bogged it up and already dropped out of the top 3 here as they come down towards turn 1 for the first time. There's biffing and barging between Gallen and Cowan. These guys are still going at it after last season. They survived for this time by though. Through turn 2 and 3 they come. Nice and clean, boys. Keep it up as they come up to...
I love riding. It's a real social thing. There's a great bond between riders.
Every weekend I look forward to getting out there. It's a freedom like no other.
Riding to work is a great way to start the day.
Shannon's insure all types of road bikes, not just classics. They offer features riders really want. It's why they're one of Australia's leading motorcycle insurance providers.
Whatever you ride, whatever you ride,
Whatever you ride,
ride with Shannon's.
Call 134646 for a quote.
Through turn 1, it was a horrible start from De Bono. He's absolutely bogged it up and gets eaten alive by Dixon and Gowans as they come on through. Through turn 1 they come, and they all spread out around in towards the first sector of the Silverstone circuit. They look all right at the moment. Okay, there's already been a car spun round. That's Jordan Ferguson off wide.
Is green, green, green at Road Atlanta here as well. Faulkner did get away. De Bono is tucked in as well. Unfortunately, Houghton is on that outside line. De Bono does want to tell him to do. He's got the job. De Bono's overtaken. Now can he get Ben Faulkner up through turns for 2 and 3? They go round the right-hander, dropping down the hill. Faulkner's out in front. De Bono second. Houghton third. Ratcliffe in fourth. No real dramas going into turn 1.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannon's,
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be.
Shannon's.
Shannon's, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 134646 for a quote.
This is amazing. It was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostert and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to sniff on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble bottle right now because Tell you what, Bruce Tanek and Jamie Dyson just absolutely drove away from us. Hayden trying to go around the outside. This is where he could have just sent it up the inside, but he hasn't committed it, which is fair enough. It's very scary out there, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's see if we get a good run. Dodds just absolutely think about it. It's a really nice move. Blake Delaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to SRW TV, and welcome in to the Warren and Brown Tools. Well, you can tell that I don't commentate on Thursdays. Welcome into the Shannon's Insurance Toyota GR86 Nationals here at Summer Point Raceway for a sprint round coming your way for round 7 of season 1 of 2025. I'm your commentator here tonight, Hamish Munro, joined as always by Steve Sinkovic alongside Sinker. I'm in here to cover for JP tonight for Summit Point, a circuit that it's a bit difficult. I've done some laps around here in the MX-5. I've never raced around here in the 8.6, but when I have done laps around in the MX-5, took a little bit to get up to pace. But when you're up to pace, you can really push these cars. And when you can really push these cars, you feel on top of the world. But we know with the world of 8.6s how much carnage there can be. I mean, last time we called this series together for Charlotte Roval, it was carnage on Earth. I mean, it was like Disney on Ice for us in sim racing land.
It's just as I see Stephanie Piccoli hit the wall. But yes, it is. It's a good track. I don't mind this track at all. Actually, it is one of those tracks where you've got to get in the rhythm of things and get the momentum and everything working for you. As I'm watching car after car spin. So there's people out there that are still getting to grips with it. But I think we're in for a ripper tonight.
I think we are too. I think it's one of those classic sort of club racing or, US club racing style of circuits. Very similar to your Lime Rocks or your, even Barber a little bit as well has that feeling to it where it almost feels as if it's in the middle of nowhere. It's got some colder about it. It's got some winter, it's got that real vibe of small town race circuit that can offer up some fantastic racing. And we know that the 8.6s love to have a bit of a door bang. We know they love to have a bit of a ding dong as well. So we'll see how they go at Summer Point. I mean, it's a tough circuit, but it's a circuit that, of course, is free to the iRacing service. Anyone who races on iRacing can compete at this circuit. And it's one that I think a lot of drivers would have driven at before throughout the rookie ranks and even through D-Class as well.
Yeah, 100%. It's you know what? This is probably the closest thing you're gonna get to an English track in the US, I reckon. It's got that little bit of Brands Hatch about it. It's got the greenery. It's got some cool corners. This spot here is one of my favourite spots as you got on the screen here. You can get some really good exit out of there, and it's a cracking little spot. Mate, I hope the boys done some practice. Get their rhythm in. Big group. There's some titles on the line, so let's let it rip, mate. Take the Band-Aid off and just go for it.
Yeah, just have a crack. I mean, that's what they got to do. And it is a track that you've kind of just got a full send, don't you think? You've got to really be prepared just to have a send and have a go. And it's one that rewards that sort of driving as well for these drivers. Pushing their limits, pushing the car's limits as well, all throughout tonight's race. And as I said, it's a really rewarding track when you can put it all together. I think it is a track though that's kind of, it feels like 3 tracks in one. The first section of circuit, very distinctive. The second section, a lot tighter, a lot more closely contested, you almost feel. And I think it's actually the toughest part of the circuit is that middle section towards the top end of the track. And then as you come around towards the third sector, it's a lot more flowing and there's more straights. And that's where it all kind of comes together again. So I think the test tonight is probably that middle sector. I think the first sector may be the spot that we see the most safety cars as they come into those braking zones for the second sector. But it's all going to be about who's able to put all the puzzle pieces together and have a complete, project at the end of the race, and that's where we're going to get our winner from.
You really got to drive with confidence around here. You really do.
Yeah.
You really got to be able to commit, like you said, to the corners and back yourself. There's a few bits where you sort of, like the undulation leaves the lack of visibility to the next part of the track. So you really got to be confident, put your car on the track and be confident that you are putting it on the right part of the track as well, and not just back off and go for it. It's going to be one for the brave. It's going to be one for the smart as well, because if you do take the risks when you don't need to, you can get on the dirt very easy. And when you're on the track by yourself, just like that, it's not bad. But when you've got cars around you, it's very unforgiving. You will very easily feel the pain of the grass. And some of the spots have got some close walls. Some of the spots have got a nice runoff.
I have just realised as well, I forgot to turn back up my in-game sound, so I've just turned that up now as we change over to qualifying. And get rid of the thumbnail once again. So in towards quali we go. Of course, being that this series has no normal rounds, they only have 15 minutes to get a lap in qualifying, must complete it before the 15 minutes is up. They don't have that overhang of a normal round where they can continue pushing on for a final lap as long as they start it before the 15 minutes. You know, if you haven't finished it before 15, you haven't got the lap. So you want to try and get out there as soon as possible, get the lap in and just try and push on. But we can already see, I mean, a bunch of drivers already wanting to pull out of pit lane straight away. It's a short circuit. You don't want to get caught up in the wrong flow of things in qualifying. So, you know, getting into the wrong sort of timing. Yep. Timing's imperative around here. And I think it's more so imperative in the 8.6s because they're so close in pace where if you get into the, you know, into the spot where you've come out a lap too late, you'll constantly find yourself having to lift off to let the guys come past you who are on their fast lap. So if you can get out early enough, if you don't want to go out at the front of the pack, just wait till all the other cars go, then follow them out, lift off a little bit, give yourself some gap, and then you can push on without anyone behind you. And I think that's the mentality that needs to be brought here. There's no point waiting 2 minutes to get out on track to get your qualifying lap in because, as I said, you're just going to get caught up constantly getting approached by cars who are on their fast lap, and you're always constantly going to have to be lifting off and just getting eaten into the pack. So to get out on track as soon as possible is the game, and to get your car in pole position is the aim in here in qualifying at Summit Point. I think it is going to be pretty imperative, though, Sinker, to get your car up front in quali because, as I said, you know, it's tough to make overtakes. It's great to race. Fantastic to race. So easy to defend here, though, which makes the battles spectacular, but makes the overtakes very difficult.
Yeah, you've got to be brave for the overtakes here, and you've got to have your timing perfect. If it's not on, it's not on, and get your nose and overlap done, and make sure you're there because yes, there's also a little bit like your UK tracks. There's some good camber and some bad camber on this track as well. So if you can position your car in the right spot, you can feel the camber where you need it, but then it disappears very quickly because they try to it's a curved track, so they try to encourage the runoff of the water. But you just got to find those little spots, like right there on my screen. You can see a little bit of camber coming in, but it fades away very quickly as you go across the center of the track. And all of a sudden, like right here, if you come hugging tight, camber's on. You go out wide, the camber is off, and you can quickly slide off. So you got to be very careful that you don't go across the middle of the track at the wrong time, especially if you're defending.
There we go. Now I got it up. Very good. So now we got the double screen going as well. Dan Bartish showing some good pace on this lap. He had a purple sector that's now been lost, but we'll see if this time is good enough to put him straight to the top. Head of Kyle Lavery, who's currently on a 123.068 at the front of the field. Gowans has gone fastest in the last sector, goes top 120.358. Nice. That was Mitch Noble or Josh King. It might have been in the background having a moment. Gallo's on top.
Dropping very quick.
Oh, they are. I told you, it's a track that fuels you with confidence. The more laps you can get in, the more you can push, the more confident you are to go for those, you know, faster lap times, of course, as well. It's difficult to find the pace when you start doing laps here. But as I said, as you go on and the more comfortable you get, the more tips you can get off either people you're practicing with or your teammates, anyone else, you'll really start to get into that rhythm and really start to find yourself in good strides. One of the tough things, though, for this track, and we've seen it across this series as well, drivers getting overlapped with each other. And then that's when it ends up in chaos. It's a circuit that can happen quite a lot, especially if someone can't get as quick of a lap time in as what they would hope, or as well if someone takes an early pit stop in the feature race where they end up further back in the field but faster than the cars around them, and then they just all get tangled, and well, it's just tears for fears for a lot of drivers out there.
It is, but these boys in this series actually probably got a better record of blue flags than some of the other series. They know where to get away. The pace is comparable to them, so they can just back off a little bit. They're pretty good. I've been pretty happy with that side of things with them for the series. It's interesting to see Gallo and Byrne. As usual, they go out very close together, and they're taking turns at giving each other a bit of a draft. But they are a bit of a toe, but very strategic the way they race, and I love the way these guys partner up. You can see that they've got control of the track already, and they're just tackling it.
But
just as I said it, and look at him, he's held.
Oh, no, straight into Cam Hardwick. That may be found against him if that gets called into race control. Very tough there and there we go. He's actually pulled over.
That would probably be NFA because he's lost control. There was no malice in it at all.
I was going to say Gallo's pulled over like someone who's left the car, like left their friend who's following them, you know, on a route that they don't know, and they're waiting for them to come along.
Yeah. Kudakazinos is just pumped up into 8th. Cochrane's just beat him to 7th place. A few people we're going to watch tonight, Ryan Price and Callan Hodgkinson. They've been fighting for the title all the way through. Very, very close battles between them. And Ryan Price has been the up-and-comer in this Pro-Am series this season.
Where has Price's pace come from, I must say? I mean, he's come a long way. Must have changed ice cream brands.
Serious. I think I'm hearing him practicing a bit more because I'm hearing him comparing lap times and that. So he's definitely out there a little bit more, taking it a bit more serious. He's doing really, really well, really well. Kevin Wakefield is got one hand on the trophy at the moment, and his biggest battle at the moment doesn't look like he's out there tonight.
He is. He's out. Oh, you mean his competition?
His competition, yeah, which is Wazzle. What's his surname? Oh, I can't see him out there, which is good for Kev because he's going to be able to get a bit of a gap on him. And the other one that's fighting for that title with him is Greg Johnson. So had some epic battles through the season so far. In the pros, obviously, it's a tough one. No Josh Horton tonight. So that's going to give the boys at the front a bit of breathing room, which is going to be spectacular. Kyle Lavery is in a battle with him for a title, and it's exactly what he needed tonight. He needed no Josh Horton. I'd probably suggest Josh is probably down here at the Grand Prix, as some of the boys already are.
We're right on board with Kyle Lavery at this stage, though, as he runs down towards the start-finish line to start another run here in qualifying. He sits P10 in the standings at the moment, so not quite up to pace where he would be. Dan Bartish has already impressed in qualifying with a 119.516. Hardwick with a 119.5 as well. For a period there, Gowans and Bartish were trading P1 on the road in qualifying here, Sinker, for the last couple of minutes. One would go fastest, then the other would topple them. And now Hardwick's put his name into the hat as well. Ron Allen showing some good pace, 119.7 in P5 at this stage. Anyone watching as well, if you notice that I've got any of the classes wrong, please tell me. We can change it. I don't have an updated class list. So if any have been updated, tell me in the chat and we can update them as we go along.
Yeah. The 1 second gap from first to, it's just changed, to 17th, all the way down to Kevin Wakefield. So that's a 1 second gap. That's how close these drivers are at the moment. It's actually less than 1 second.
Look at that, Sinker. It's all orange. It is all orange between every single car. It is
crazy. Yeah, the boys are... it's going to be a close race tonight. It's going to be spectacular. We've got over just under 30 cars on track, so it's going to be a battle for the brave, and the classes are going to be going for it like crazy. We're seeing Dan Bartush has done extremely well this season. Hamish, his improvement rate, not only in the V8s, but on here has been spectacular. So I'm expecting a big race here. He's got Joshua Horton missing. Dylan DeBono is missing tonight too. So two very fast guys are leaving it open for Bartush, Gowans, the Carlin boys, Lavery. These guys have been all fighting at the top end. Also, Tony Baker as well has been spectacular this season too.
Yeah, Baker's in a similar scenario to Lavery at the moment, just not up to pace, it seems, at this stage. He's back in P13 here in qualifying as we get up towards the second, third break here of qualifying. Nearly 5 minutes to go in the 15-minute session.
First sector purple.
Oh, could he go
He's got some
top?
early form tonight.
He's in that toe in behind the Carlins boys. Could this be good enough to take him to the top as he crosses the start-finish line very shortly? I believe they're coming down towards the final corner. No, that was turn 1. Okay.
Yeah.
His time mustn't have counted. Must have had an off track.
1:19.576 at the moment he is, but still is very fast.
Ooh.
We're talking 6/100ths.
That was Bartish ended off the road, or ended up off the road. Oh, that's why there was a car spun.
Yeah.
That'll be how he got
Uncle
off track.
Gowans is doing extremely well. 5:16. So that is now gone down to 15th place. No, 16th. 17th. Whoa, look at this. 1 second is down to 18th place at the moment. That is spectacular. There's 2/10 just over it. That is crazy. No.
That's insane.
It's gone further again.
It's P18 for Travis Nielsen.
Yeah, P18, he's down at 7:53, but Jesus, they're close.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are too.
That's going to make an epic race tonight.
Wayne Edwards, Anthony Tradigo not out on track here in qualifying at this stage, so it seems that they're either not participating tonight or that it's not participating in qualifying.
I believe they both have a
rear grid
pit start.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe they both have a pit start. I could be wrong, but I do remember definitely Tradigo has, I'm pretty sure. We've got Greg Johnson out on wets. What's he playing at? I don't think he's realised.
I don't think he has. He's in the pits
Mr.
at the
Johnson,
moment.
I know you're always listening. You've got wets on, mate. What's going on there?
Does he know something we don't, Sinko?
No, but let me just check the weather report.
Has he got the inside knowledge that Summit Point is somehow going to have some rain? I mean,
no, there's
I
no
hope
cyclone Alfred coming, mate.
I don't think the internet that I've currently got will handle the rain. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, no, there's definitely no cyclone Alfred. No, he's on dries now.
Okay.
So he must have realised and gone back in, thinking, "Oh, what's going on? Where's my brother? Where is he?"
I'm missing in action, apparently. Was he at the Grand Prix today, maybe?
No. He's working today. He's working. He wouldn't dare go to the Grand Prix without me. He must be still getting home from work. Or he's falling asleep on the couch.
He told you he wouldn't go without you, Sinker. But surely there's been a scenario where he's just like, oh, I'm just going to go over here for a minute, and then you just don't see him for about 4 hours whilst you're at the Grand Prix together.
Just disappearing. Oh, who was that? Purple sector at the last section. Dan Bartouche. No, that wasn't him. Who was it? Someone who had a real nice one. Doesn't look like it affected their time, though.
Tell you what, though, Cam Hardwick has got some incredible pace here tonight. Not sure if he's actually in the Pro-Am class or if he's misclassed here. If he is Pro-Am,
no, he's right. He's right where he is. Yeah, he's been fighting. He's been fighting for the title with Callum Hodgkinson. Callum Hodgkinson, I believe, is a Pro-Am. We got him as a.
Yeah, he is a Pro. Cal's not in. Oh, he is a Pro. What the hell?
Yeah, he's a Pro-Am. So that's switched itself somehow.
I'll make that change.
Him, Cam, and Pricey have been doing some great fighting there for titles.
There we go. He's now in Pro-Am. Hopefully that's correct. I hope so.
10, 11. I think Dean's missing out of them. That's about it. He shouldn't be too far off. If he misses quality, he's gonna be cursing because he won't get in the ring. Oh, he was having issues last night with the update affecting his VR and his PC. So he's probably having issues with the PC as well. So I did hear a few people having some issues. Hopefully that's not what's going on here. Oh, I'll tell you what, Kutakazinos loves the sand across that corner. The Blackout OPR boys have been extremely fast in this series. Matty Feely's not here tonight. He's another one missing, probably due to the F1s. Or if they're an avid V8 fan, the V8's down at Albert Park as well this weekend. There we go. Gowans has got a second sector. He's moved up into second place with a 19.454. Whoa, 3 100ths. Oh, that is sensational. It's very, very close out there, folks. The top three are gapped by 3 100ths each. 3 100ths from Bartouche to Gowans and another 3 100ths from Gowans to Hardwick. So spectacular laps across there. And then you got second for Gallo, a second for Hodgkinson, and then 2 100ths to Roland Allen, who's having a great one too.
Well, Cam Hardwick cannot get onto the front row. He's just crossed the finish line, Sinker, as we get to the 15 minutes. And he's going to be stuck back in P3 on the road.
Hammer has dropped.
It has dropped. The hammer of Shadow Realm has dropped on every single driver to take them out of the or off the track. Starting grid, though, for race number 1 here this evening. But Swallows, no, we don't want class set. We want overall. Give me overall. There it is. Dan Bartish will start pole position ahead of Doug Gowans on the front row of the grid ahead of Cam Hardwick and David Gallo for your top 4. Calvin Hodgkinson and Ron Allen will then start P5 and P6 ahead of Daniel Byrne and Sam Katakazinas for the 4th row, with Mark Cochran and Kyle Avery inside of the top 10. Trev Mortimer and Tony Baker will then make up the top 12 in qualifying, with Ryan Price, Chris Tomlin, Mitch Noble for the top 15. Tyler Sheaf, Kevin Wakefield, Travis Nielsen, the top 18 cars, with Brandon Neal and Shane Newens for your top 20. Brandon Soper and David Simmons will start just ahead of Brad Mays and Greg Johnson for your top 24, with Steph Piccoli and Anthony Trejigo and Wayne Edwards at the back end of the field.
Yep. So the operations tonight down in the dungeon for the RC is Tyson McAvoy and Matty Keane. So Leakey should be on track tonight as well.
No, he's in RC.
Is he in RC? He usually races on a Thursday.
No, he's in RC in the Merc.
Oh, there you go. He's down in the Merc tonight, spreading his wings. All right, it's going to be a serious one. There's some title battles coming up that are going to maybe change or maybe not change tonight. So it will be interesting to see what the outcome is going to be.
So we're just awaiting the cars to join the grid. Of course, normally a 3-minute grid timer to get on there, but none of the top 8 cars are on the grid just yet. Mark Cochran and Kyle Avery are, though. They're hungry to try and make their way forward in this race. Of course, the results of race 1 will continue on to race 2, with the top 10 being reversed for the starting grid of that race. But I think for, especially early on in race 1, Sinker, they're just going to have to take their time, keep themselves in check, try and keep themselves clean as well. It's very easy to run wide at this circuit. There are a couple of spots that if you get a bit loose, namely down the main straight, there's actually quite a few jumps where you can actually launch your car across to the other side of the track. So they need to be very, very cautious not to get tangled up with each other very early on, and just try and push on and have a nice clean race across this 20-minute sprint.
Dean is out for dinner because it's his daughter Bianca's birthday. There you go. Kev just gave me the update. And looks like 2 of my drivers are having setup issues with their computers as well. Levin and King.
All right, so we just await Trev Mortimer to join the grid in qualifying here, as Anthony Chigo and Wade Edwards are now serving their rear of grid penalties in or after qualifying. Lights are up. Race 1 coming your way at Summit Point for round 7 of the season. We are underway out at Summit Point. It was a good start from the front runners, but one of the cars in the background had bogged it straight down. I think it was Brad Mays. As they run down towards turn 1, it's a scramble already. Cars already getting forced off the road into the grass further back as they enter turn 1 for the first time. Can they keep it clean, or is there going to be anyone that gets caught up?
Oh, bit of a tail wag from one of your boys, and looks like Pricey's gone all the way around.
Pricey's gone round and straight to the back of the field. I like the fact he has the ice cream car. That's hilarious.
Yeah, Mr. Whippy. I can just hear the music going.
I have that music on a soundboard actually. As Sheafy looks to send it past Mitch Noble. Job done. As that's Mark.
That going to the dirt.
Road?
I think it's one of your boys.
No, none of my drivers are in this field, Sinko.
One of the, yes. Looking pretty tight across the field, too wide there with, that's
Sheafy and Cochrane in this one.
Yeah.
So
looking good. Pricey's slowly catching up. I did pick Pricey as my car to watch on the bottom screen, but he's a bit way behind there with, is that behind him?
Greg Johnson.
Greg Johnson.
So he's been off the road, but for poor selection by my dog once again to bring the squeaky ball in, Synchro, I say.
I thought that was you're getting rusty, mate.
Oh, mate, it wouldn't squeak, it'd just crunch if that happened. But at the moment, Dan Bartush leads the way ahead of Doug Gowans, Cam Hardwick, David Gallo, Callan Hodgkinson, Ron Allen for your top 6, Daniel Burns, Sam Katakazinis, Kyle Avery and Tony Baker for the top 10, Trev Mortimer, Chris Tomlin, Mark Cochrane, Tyler Sheaf and Travis Nielsen makes up the top 15. Mitch Noble a bit further back, car 157 with a drive-through penalty for contact on lap 1, turn 1. That's going the way of David Simmons, unfortunately. He'll have to now traverse through the lane.
Simmons.
Yep. And I would assume that's contact with Ryan Price that's put him to the back of the field. So that's why Simo's going to have to come through pit lane. For Bartush, though, he's under a little bit of pressure at the moment from Doug Gowans and Cam Hardwick.
Dougie, I'll tell you what, Bartush, his racecraft has improved so much. He's quite capable of battling it out there with Dougie now, keeping the elbows out. He will definitely be a tough one to pass. His positioning of his car's got so much better over this season compared to last.
So now right on board with Doug Gowans in towards the final corner. He's got Cam Hardwick just in behind as they run out onto the main straight.
The dirt just there.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. You've got Gallo trying to break the toe from Callum Hodgkinson. Hodgkinson is chasing down Hardwick for a position. They're side by side now. They're going to the brake zone. Callum's nose drops first. He's taking the brakes, but Gallo's got the inside line, a little bit leaning on each other. And looks like, Hodgkinson has still got the overlap. Which way will they go?
He's still beside. Nice work. Hodgkinson gets the job done.
Nice work.
That's a great move.
Nice work. I was about to say, I'm yet to see someone lose their tail across for that little shallow chicane, but looked like Lavery was nearly the one to do it. Bottom screen, they're having a great little battle there again.
Oh, that was big contact. Sam Katakazinis just drilled the back of Daniel Byrne as he went for a move into the braking zone down at the very sharp left. So I kind of caught that live then on board with Katakazinis. He bumped the back end of Byrne's car. That then forced him into Ron Allen.
I don't think Byrne realises how much damage he's got.
No, he's got so much that steering's broken.
He tried to rejoin then, but then I think when he got on bitumen, he realised that his front right is gone. So maybe he'll make it back. We'll see if there might be a safety car. Who knows? So Katakazinos has given him a touch, pushed him on to Ronald Allen. And, there's Burns' front gone, and Allen is not too bad. Oh, Burns nearly backed into him as well.
So Sam Katakazinis may find himself with a drive-through penalty as reward for the 2-for-1 special of Daniel Byrne.
Burns made it back. It's too wide.
This is for the lead. Gowans and Bartush at turn 3.
Beautiful driving.
Oh, bit of a door.
Yeah, Bartush has got to make sure he leaves space as well. That's where the space was a bit short then.
Yep, drive-through penalty for car 968. That is Sam Katakazinis for the contact down at turn 5. So, I mean, it was looked pretty cookie cutter to us. He just drilled Byrne into poor old Ron Allen, who was a sitting duck.
Look at Price. He's having a good old sniff down the back there on the bottom screen on Anthony Trigadino. Really packing them in tight. Wayne Edwards is right behind them as well. So these guys have really got tight through there. And they're all bottlenecked behind Brendan Soper. So they're a nice little battle. Brandon Hillen and Newens just swap places as well through there. Kevin Wakefield, who's fighting for the AM title, has got himself 1 second away from Shane Newens. He wants to get up that field as much as possible.
So Bartush is still hot on the heels of Doug Gowans. He's not quite close enough to go for the move just yet. They've got Cam Hardwick just in behind them at this stage. as they run down towards turn 2 and 3. You can just see the pressure that Bartosz is going to have to apply on Dougie here, just to try and get this move back done again. We know they've both got pace sinker. It's how willing they are to go for the send and get the move done.
Oh, yeah. Look at him down here. Ryan Price, he's fighting his way back. He's had a crap qualifying, and he is now fighting it with Trigadigo and trying to get himself back into a title fighting position. So what we've seen in the last few rounds is very clever positioning, or maybe more fortunate than not. But Callum Hodgkinson was fighting for the title with Ryan Price, and he's just got himself on that pole position, which gave him Pricey was just out of the 11, out of the 10, and Callum Hodgkinson inside the 10, which was key. They weren't too far apart for the first heat, but that was a massive difference for him to be in the top 10 for the reverse top 10 grid, which made a massive gap between himself and Pricey as a big buffer, and that's been helping Callum pretty much right through the series. He's been very fortunate there. Oh, a bit of rubber or something flying off the back of that car.
Cochrane is feeling the pressure at the moment as we ride on board with Tomlin just in behind him. Just running it a bit wide at the final corner. So you have a feeling that Chop might be able to get this one done very shortly. Cochrane forced to cover that inside line. You can see that Noble's trying to cover the inside in behind as well from Tyler Sheaf. So this battle looks to heat up in the mid-pack at this stage. They're trying to chase down Trev Mortimer and Tony Baker inside of the top 10. Cochrane is the last car, currently provisional pole for race 2. But still 13 minutes to go in this race, so anything can happen. Any one of these drivers can end up in that illustrious P10 position. And for Chris Tomlin, he wants to be the one to get there, but Cochrane's not going to let this go without a fight, it seems.
No, they're not. And down the back, we're just seeing a massive queue forming behind Ryan Price now. Price is the lead out of Trigadigo, Super, Allen, Edwards and Johnson. And Johnson has been putting a lot of pressure there on Wayne Edwards. A lot. He's down to 1/10 at one point. He has his nose just overlapping, but had to pull it out.
So Mitch Noble's now in this battle with Chris Tomlin and Mark Cochrane as they come through the final turn. Does Cochrane run wide again, or does he keep that thing nice and straight? Keeps it on the circuit this time. Doesn't pick up any gravel, any debris, it seems. But for Noble, he might look to try and send this thing at the end of the straight as Tomlin covers the inside line. He's going to give up his opportunity to attack Cochrane here to try and defend the position to Mitch Noble. Cochrane then goes out wide, though. Could that be a mistake? As Tomlin's now trying to get the inside line. Just whispers on the back bumper of Cochrane.
That
Pulls
was
up.
so close to a rotation there.
Great
Well
awareness,
done by
though.
Noble.
An awareness from Tomlin just to lift off and not stay into it, to not spin Cochrane. You know, fight for another day, that sort of thing. Keep himself from getting a penalty. Very, very smart driving from these guys.
Excellent driving there. Excellent. They did really well. A few of my boys, 3 of my boys didn't make it in time because of the update. Anderson King and on our chat, Brendan Levin. So that's all right, boys. We'll live to fight another day. The action is everywhere, man. This backpack as well. They're just not giving up. I'm going to have to switch it up, though, because Ryan Price has got himself a nice little buffer there, and he's pulled away from the group that were tagging him. He's 1.3 seconds away, and then Soper is now the bottleneck for Ronald Allen. Those boys are trickling out.
Look at this run from Gallo on Cam Hardwick towards turn 1. He looks to get this thing done already. He's already passed him at this stage. Tucks it up the inside. Job done for David Gallo. Callan Hodgkinson trying to sneak on through on Hardwick as well. They're going to be side by side up through turn 2 and in towards turn 3. Can Hodgkinson get this done, or can Hardwick survive? Hardwick's going to just be ahead of him for the turn in at turn 2. Fantastic stuff from them.
The it's Callum Hodgkinson fastest lap 1:19.633, and he's really putting it in there at the moment. He's not giving up at all. He's got his heart set on his title, and he's got Cam Hardwick in front of him. So the points are really important here between those two drivers.
And this is, I mean, it's crunch time now for them. I mean, there's only 2 points separating positions here in the first sprint race of the night, but they're crucial points. I mean, even at only 2 points, Singer, that could be the make or break of your championship. You could win or lose the title by 2 points. So for Hardwick and for Hodgkinson as Gallo runs wide into the sand trap. Keeps going though. They've now got Lavery in behind, who's had a great gain off the start already here, Sinker. Lavery, Mortimer and Baker have all been up 4 positions in this race. Tomlin, Noble and Sheaf also up 4 as well, as their battle continues to get inside of the top 10, as Tomlin has now found himself there. How has he done that? Who has dropped out to get him in? I don't know. It's not Daniel Byrne. Not Ron Allen. Not Pricey. Oh, it might be Katakazinas. No, he already did his drive.
Well, Katakazinas went for the drive-through, so...
Yeah. Unsure how that's happened. But for Tomlin, he's now lost out to Mitch Noble, who's inside of the top 10 and looks to pull a regular Noble strat of starting pole of race 2. Hopefully he can not bottle the start if he finishes here. And he can actually
keep himself. Okay of late. He's been doing okay. Good. He's had his elbows out.
Oh, that's good.
I think he's just got a little bit over ambitious at times, but he's showing some early pace, which is good. I'm just trying to have a look to see where our boys are standing in the scheme of things. There has been an update.
Whoa, another run off track there for Cam Hardwick and Callum Hodgkinson at the final corner, so they're still trying to fight their way forward. If you're on Pricey Watch at the moment, he's still up 5. He's down 5 spots into P18 now, trying to chase down Brendan Nealon, who's just a little bit further up the road from him. There's Pricey, not too far behind, but a bit of work to do for Mr. Whippy himself as well, as they try to fight forward.
So in our AMS battle at the moment, we've got Kevin Wakefield leading by 80 points across Greg Johnson. So Johnson needs to get a wriggle on. And then behind Johnson by 2 points is Anthony Trigadigo. So Trigadigo at the moment is going to drop into second place for the title fight for the last 2 rounds, which is going to be very, very important. The boys are going to be livid if they screw it up tonight, that's for sure. In the Pro-Ams, Callum Hodgkinson is 29 points ahead of Ryan Price and Hardwick 136 behind. So Hardwick wants to finish in front of these boys and get some extra points.
And that's probably all but gone at this point. So for 136 points, that would have to come down to Cal not showing up for the final round for Cam to even have a shout.
Horton hasn't shown up for this round, and that's dropped him down.
Yeah, but you got to remember
points,
though, this is also counted as a drop round. I mean, Cal would need to have a poor race tonight, a poor race next week, to force a dud round to his name, or not show up to round 9.
Very, very possible.
It is indeed, but at 136 points, nothing against Cam. 136 points at this stage of the season seems pretty insurmountable at this point. We've seen many seasons where we've counted a driver at that many points behind out of it, and they've then somehow come back. But then there's also others where they haven't come back as well. So it's a bit of a juggling act.
We saw. That was very, very close. The boys just there. Looks like was it Wayne Edwards or Soper? Which one of those boys was it? It's actually Tomlin missing the back of Noble again. Look, we had Dougie Gowans come out of 3rd place last season to win the title on the very last round. So it's I don't predict anything on these boys anymore because they surprise me every week. Every week, it's unbelievable what they do.
Andrew Rushworth makes a very good point. Do we think that the new update with the packet loss flag might hurt people, for example, like Josh, who suffered lots of blinking of late. He blinked a lot at Alton Park.
It depends what their settings are at.
No. So the packet loss flag sinker, to kind of update on everyone how the packet loss flag actually works. If you suffer bad blinking, it immediately puts you in pit lane. It cuts you out from driving, immediately puts you in pit lane, and then you can either try and fix your internet and keep going, or you can ghost drive. So for drivers who suffer with poor internet connection, they could, or even just as a one-off, could immediately then just get thrown into pit lane with the blinking flag, and then they get taken out of it because they're a lap down immediately by getting towed back to pit lane straight away. So it's going to take the load off of race control for sure, because it means race control doesn't have to worry about checking on blinking drivers. It means that iRacing will just do it itself. But it does mean that some drivers who would normally have good internet may get screwed over by their internet a little bit more than what it normally would, but it will save other drivers from getting screwed over on track by getting hit by a blinking driver. I think back to the Red Bull Ring Sinker where Troy Stonestreet reappeared from the Shadow Realm directly in front of another car and got spun round at turn 3 because they didn't know. I think it was Jamie Davis. He didn't know he was there, and he just reappeared and got spun. So with that new system in place now, that's going to make it a bit easier for those situations to not happen because Troy would have got put straight into the pit lane with that sort of blinking.
So adding the screen above you at the moment, we've got Dave Gallo making an attempt on Dan Bartush because Dougie Gowans has got a full second on him. He was right up on him then, nearly ready to go for it. But in the bottom screen, we've got an amazing battle there with the boys and girls going crazy. 3 wide, going top on the back of...
What has just happened to Tony Baker and Trev Mortimer? I think Tony Baker may have just found the Shadow Realm sinker on the main straight. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. He definitely did. He definitely did. Because that right there is the door to the Shadow Realm at the forest.
Hard left could have been equipment failure there.
No. He was clipped by Trev. So you'll see here there's a little bit of movement, but then look at this. In the side, and then that's going to force the car over. So it wasn't a hard left.
He's driven over the top of him a bit.
Yeah, he's driven over the top of him, but the hard left isn't necessarily from the equipment failure. That's more or less he's drifted across, and then as they made contact, it's forced his car to move over even more. One of those things.
Rushy goes, it could make or break a championship. It already has, really Rushy. If you remember season 3 last year, Joshua Horton's internet left him during one of the last 2 races of the season, and that cost him the title. So it has happened already. I'm sure it'll probably happen again. Internet is one of those things because we've got third generation internet in this country. But have a look at the bottom screen. The boys are swapping and changing again. Kutakazinos is battling his way through nice and tightly. These boys are all very, very close from Cochrane onwards. Kutakazinos, Noble, Tomlin, Tyler Sheaf, having a great little battle there. But don't forget the boys at the front as well. Apart from Dougie Gowans taking a 2.7 second lead.
There was contact with Hardwick and David Gallo then.
Yep, Gallo is...
And that might cost Cam Hardwick even more. We'll see what race control says.
Yep, we'll see what race control says. That was very, very tight across there. Gallo has actually got the fastest lap of the race at the moment, a 1:19.583. So at the moment, Joshua Horton, who's not here tonight, he was leading the championship by 102 points to Cole Lavery. That's going to put a dent in it, and that'll bring the championship closer to Dave Gallo, who's 17 points behind Lavery, and Dougie Gowans, who's 45 points behind Gallo. So this is going to open up the championship a bit.
It will indeed. No further action as well for that moment at turn 1 with Trev Mortimer and Tony Baker as well. Jack was asking where's Sam. He's on the bottom screen at the moment, actually, in a great battle with Mark Cochrane.
Side.
Yeah, side by side with Cochrane. We'll see what race control says about that moment there with Cam Hardwick and David Gallo as well. That's all now being played into the hands of Doug Gowans, who's been allowed to run away with things. I was going to mention, do these guys just want to stop track extending at the final corner? Because that was getting pretty ridiculous that last lap. They ran all the way out into the sand and then stayed onto the grass as well. No further action at turn 5. So maybe they thought it could be self-penalising for David Gallo. Very interesting how that plays out.
Okay. That was the last one we just had?
Yeah, that was. So I can understand it. A reason why it could be no
he might
further
have
action.
Turned a bit early on the driver behind.
Exactly. Might have moved over. Might have moved on the brakes. Whatever it may have been. A whole heap of reasons why. But for Doug Gowans, this has been an immense run home in this race. Checkered flag flies at Summit Point for race number 1 as Doug Gowans of FTR takes the win. It's 2 wins on the trot across 2 different nights, Inca. He took the feature race win yesterday in the MOZA Racing Super Formula Championship and now starts the Shannon's Insurance Toyota GR86 Nationals tonight with a win next to his name as well. Bartish P2. Lavery makes up an all-pro podium ahead of Cam Hardwick and David Gallo with Callan Hodgkinson, Trev Mortimer, Sam Kutakazinos, Mark Cochrane and Mitch Noble. P10 on the road will start pole in race number 2 with Tomlin, Sheaf, Nielsen, Wakefield, Mays, your top 15, Nealon, Price, Allen, Tradigo, Johnston, Soper, Newens, Byrne, Edwards, Piccoli, Simmons, and Baker makes up the back of the field.
Makes for a very interesting feature race, that's for sure. Reverse top 10, front row, Cochrane and Noble. Second row, Catakazinos, who's fought himself all the way back to 8th place after a drive-through penalty. Our biggest mover tonight was Bradley Mays, up 8. Oh, Anthony Tricadigo, up 10 places.
No,
Next was Bradley Mays.
His may not count because it would have the safety cars ahead of him. So it might only be 8.
And Kyle Lavery up 7 places to get to the podium. So not too shabby at all.
Biggest mover was Lavery and Trejigo. They were both up 7, respectively. So Mays was... Mays was up 8 too. So, you know, Mays with the biggest moves of 8 positions. But race 1 comes to an end. We then have a small white position to come, Sinker, before race 2. Predictions, thoughts? Are we going to see the safety car in race 2, do you reckon? Or do you think it's just going to be more hard battling out on track with some clean running?
I think this has got too much of a runoff for a safety car. They'd have to pretty much disintegrate a car on track for it to happen. So I'm not thinking there's going to be likely to be a safety car. But a 40-minute race on this track, I think the tyres will start to let go the last 5 or so minutes. So a bit of nose drift here and there, but there's a lot of titles on the line here, so the drivers have to be very, very careful. Lavery's got himself in a really good position without Josh Horton here tonight. He needs to finish in the top 3 again to put one hand on the trophy, and David Gallo is only 17 points behind him, so that's prior to this race just completed. So spectacular form out there. Kevin Wakefield looks like he's got himself with one hand, maybe one finger on the trophy. He needs Greg Johnson to lift his game for the next race with only a 30, what is it? Hang on, zoom in. An 80-point lead. So we know that Kev's had some internet issues of late, so he's just got to hope he can complete this race. Otherwise, it's going to let Greggy Johnson back into the race for the title.
He's going to have to be cautious and prepared, I think, for Wakefield, Sinker. He realistically just has to try and get those, you know, solid finishes into him. He doesn't necessarily need to be higher up the order, just needs to make sure he gets some good points, finishes ahead of Jono, and he should wrap up that championship fairly soon.
Yes, 100%. You know what? To be totally honest, you've got 2 really tough tracks coming up for the end of the season, and it's still anyone's race. This is the thing. Anything can go crazy. Beers, what's that? Is Sinker going to the GP tomorrow? Beers on Sinker. Oh, mate, I wish I was going to the GP tomorrow, mate. I got a new job, and we won't be going to the GP at all this year. But I will be having a few bevies on Sunday with my brother, and giving the theatre room a bit of a christening with the race, which was probably going to be wet again. Who knows? All right, Ryan Price and Callum Hodgkinson.
I'm more excited for Sneddits and Supercars on Sunday, personally, for me. So.
That's going to be pretty spectacular.
Yeah, it will.
That's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
It will be, definitely. The race will be over and done by them, which is good. And I'll be probably a little bit after watching the F1s and having a few bevies. But one of the interesting things tonight is the titles in this series are all switching and changing, apart from the AMs. I'm really, really intrigued to see what happens with Hodgkinson and Price tonight. Before the race, there was only 29 points in it, so it's going to be an interesting one. At the moment, we've got Callum finishing in the top 5 and Pricey finishing just outside the top 10. So what can Pricey pull out here?
Well, he's going to have to put on a big comeback show if he wants to try and make his way up towards the front. If we could just run through the results of race 1, we can have a bit of a look at where Pricey ended up. So he's P17. He needs to try and get up towards P6. Now, remembering that Hodgkinson is going to start P5 on the grid. Yeah, he'll be P5 on the grid. So that's 12 positions that Pricey has to try and make up across the 40 minutes of racing. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that. He's going to have some incredible pace. Maybe hope for a little bit of luck that Hodgkinson drops back a little bit. It's going to have to be a mega run.
His current form, it wouldn't surprise me. His current form has been really good. He's been staying out of trouble, apart from tonight's start of this race. That cost him. But his current form has been really good, really clean. He's been doing a Ronald Allen of season 2 last year, where he stayed out of trouble and had some consistent pace. He's been doing that a lot. How much we got left? What have
we've got around about 50 seconds left in the warm-up before we grid up for race 2 here this evening.
Yep. Look at this, Jordan Ferguson, RIP old sinker.
Yeah, the old sinker would have met them at the Grand Prix.
No, look, mate, unfortunately, the finances don't allow it at the moment. I've just started a new job too, so it's a tough one. But I would, we almost went to the London, the Albert Park Tavern across the road, me and Dean, but you never know. My wife's working Sunday as well, which is hard.
The smart decision would have been get a job that takes you to the Grand Prix this year.
Well, as you may be funnily to say that, this job may take me to the Grand Prix next year. So that is strategically planned.
Well, better should have planned a year ahead.
Oh, well, you know, these things can't be just pushed ahead so far.
No, that's right.
But, it's going to be interesting. Yes, the old sinker would have been at the what's he called? The Johnny Walker whiskey stand in a good spot, having a few blacks and a bit of nibbles and enjoying the view.
And then calling the wife to come pick you up at the end of the race. Of course.
Sorry?
And then calling your wife to come pick you up at the end of the race.
No. We used to. I've got a really good silver taxi service which we used to get, and they would drop us off and pick us up perfectly. It was we had a good system down pat. Oh, pit lane start for car number 17. Towed without permission.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that Wayne Edwards who's getting that?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
Starting grid for race number 2. Will be as follows. It'll be a reverse top 10 finish of race number 1. So a continuous grid with the top 10 reverse from race 1 means that Mitch Noble will start pole position once again in his year-long SRW career at this point, ahead of Mark Cochran in P2, Sam Katakazinis, Trev Mortimer for your second row, ahead of Callan Hodgkinson inside the top 5, David Gallo, Cam Hardwick starting behind with Kyle Avery on the 4th row of the grid, with Dan Bartish and Doug Gowans making up the reverse top 10. Chris Tomlin and Tyler Sheaf just missed out on the possibility of a pole position in this race by finishing P11 and P12. Starting in behind them will be Travis Nielsen and Kevin Wakefield for your top 14, Brad Mays and Brandon Nealon. For your 8th row, Ryan Price will start P17, 12 spots behind his championship rival in Callan Hodgkinson. He's going to have to make a lot of moves in this race to get up that far. Ronald Allen, Anthony Trejigo, Greg Johnston for your top 20, Brandon Soper, Shane Newens will start ahead of Daniel Byrne and Steph Piccoli for the top 24. As we move back to David Simmons ahead of Tony Baker, with Wayne Edwards starting from pit lane due to towing without permission in race number 1.
Yes, naughty Wayne. If you are out there and you've got someone you are following, someone you're watching, please let us know. We'll try to share as much as we can through the broadcast of any particular drivers or teams. Also, please like and subscribe. We are so close to getting 1,500 subscribers. It would be fantastic to get that before the season finishes. We have got a second left ticking down, a minute left ticking down for the race. And you can see them just before the corner at the very, very, very back. I reckon Toyota might win. Colin Black, you're a genius.
No, I think Subaru are going to win.
Interesting.
Well,
interesting.
It's the same car, Sinker. Come on.
Yes, it is. It is very much the same car. 30 seconds.
So 30 seconds on the clock for the start of race number 2. Be sure to hit the like button, to subscribe, the bell icon as well. If you're new with us here at SRW, or if you've been around for a while and you haven't done so, be sure to do so as well, so you're notified whenever we go racing. Massive weekend coming your way with Sunday night's V8 Supercars Championship brought to you by Warren & Brown Tools at Snetterton. And then a big round 8 coming your way next week as well. Lights are going up though, revs rise, and the Toyota GR86s as we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And we're underway at Summit Point once again. Cam Hardwick has absolutely bottled the start inside of the top 10 as it's a scramble towards turn 1 again. Are we going to get a car spun this time by, or are they going to keep themselves clean for lap number 1 as the sun starts to set at Summit Point? Cochrane round the outside of Noble. Door-to-door action already. It's a jump start for car 6-5, Cam Hardwick. It's a lifeline, in fact, and that might even end his championship hopes. Cochrane and Noble, though. Cochrane takes the lead at turn 3. What a move from Mark Cochrane over Mitch Noble. So for Cam Hardwick, Sinker, we spoke about, he was 136 points adrift of Callan Hodgkinson in the championship fight. A drive-through penalty that'll put into the back of the field is not going to help those very slim hopes anytime soon.
No time soon, especially with Callum Hodgkinson sitting in 4th place at the moment, just behind Sam Kudakazinos. And the snake is already appearing. The boys down the back. Oh, going a bit side by side. Edwards. Oh, was that Edwards? And one of my boys, Nielsen. It was Mays. Mays, yes.
So a little bit of door-to-door already as Cochrane leads them round the final corner. Gowan's still where he started in this race. P10 on the road. Sheafy was struggling with a little bit of blinking before, but he's kept going. The big mover thus far in this race, inside of the top 10, Chris Tomlin has moved his way up to P8 off the race start. A phenomenal effort already from him in this race. Bartish is up too as well, but it's a scramble in towards turn 1 for Noble, who's getting caught with Cochrane on the outside. Hodgkinson on the in behind Noble now. Katakazinas wants to get through too.
Hold your lines, boys. Hold your lines.
It's 2 sets. Bump. 2 sets of 2 wide into turn 2. A little bit of rearward bump. Oh my God.
Kudakazinos just got his Greek little nose out of the way then. He would have got it snipped. Oh, look at the back line going too wide.
Oh, it's a big send.
Boys are going for it.
Car 27. Brandon Sopar for contact on lap 1, turn 1. So there was a little bit of contact early doors here, Sinker, but for these drivers at the front, it's an intensifying battle, but it's a long way to go. 37.5 minutes still left to run here at Summit Point. So this sort of tough battling is helping Mark Cochrane at the front of the field, who's starting to build up his gap, but Noble aggressive on the defense in towards the final corner, does not want to give anything to Katakazinas in his run towards the front.
Oh, he won't. He'll stick it out as long as he can. He's out there having the fun, having the time of his life fighting with those boys up front.
As I believe Ron Allen's had an off-track further back. Where is Ron?
Cole Lavery at the moment is in a stellar position. Got himself up 3 places. So his title fight is alive, and he has got the contenders behind him, Gallo and Gowans. Gowans in 9th place and Gallo right behind him. So good position at the moment. He's got to keep going. Ryan Price has just set the fastest lap at 1:26.38. He is up 4 places in the 13th place already. So he's working his way up. He is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th place in the Pro-Ams. On track, that is.
I'm just trying to find where Brandon Sopar is, because he's just towed the pit lane.
That a spin in the back.
That was there. Travis Nielsen.
Travis Nielsen got served by the look of it. I shouldn't say served, but he's off track. Had a bit of a moment there. Ryan Price is working his way up. He's catching Bradley Mays very, very quickly. Have a look at this bottom screen. Look at all the cars, how close they are.
So Brandon Sopar came into pit lane to serve his drive-through, and then it appeared he's actually now towed back to pits as well, Sinker, whilst he's in pit lane. So that's unfortunate for Brandon. As Katakazinas wants the lead. Is Noble going to make it 3 wide into turn 1? Couldn't quite do it. Door was closed. In fact, it was slammed shut by Cochrane, who now holds him up mid-corner under brakes, but that's giving Katakazinas a run.
Yeah, Cochrane really stalled it through there. He really lost a lot of momentum. But look at Callum Hodgkinson coming on the outside. 3 wide into the corner. Cochrane, Noble, Callum Hodgkinson still on the inside through that tail. He's had his nose cut off. Cochrane said, no, thank you.
He says, no, sir. I hold the door. You do not get through this time by. As Hodgkinson sends it up the inside at the bottom of the hill. Can't quite get the run, though, on the tighter line, so it's intense here for Mark Cochran.
Look
and for
how close these boys are.
Mate, Katakazinas
Noble's got it ahead of him. He's got it ahead of him. Has he got it done? He has got it done. He's fought his way back.
What a move by Mitch Noble. Katakazinas right now is licking his lips like he sees a hero van somewhere because he's getting to pull away from these boys as they battle.
He's getting a pull away from these boys during the battle. He is pulling away from the field, he means, and he's at a 22.25 as the fastest lap in that last lap. Mark Cochran has dropped off. He's actually peeled away 1.23 seconds. So the battle behind them, the yellow and orange is going all the way down to Ryan Price. And then there's a gap to Anthony Tricadigo, who's 4 seconds off that group. And then there's a massive group following them again.
So Hodgkinson's now under pressure from Kyle Lavery, who's in the battle for the Pro Championship this season. Car 033,
Yep.
drive-through penalty.
Drive-through.
Yep, so
that's what would have been that dust we saw coming through.
So all of a sudden for Kevin Wakefield, the pressure's now on him. He needed to try and keep his race clean. He's now going to drop behind.
Travis Nielsen got responsibility for that other one that he got turned, that he rotated on. So he's got a drive-through penalty for that too.
And he's actually just run it wide down at turn 5 again as the leaders come
brakes
past.
by Travis.
Oh, okay. So Katakazinas now gets past the lap traffic of Travis Nielsen. Cochran, the gap's now 1.1 seconds in behind. He's still got Mitch Noble chasing him down towards the next lap of this race here at Summit Point. It appears the sun is setting very soon, Sinker. It's gotten very, very dark out there for these drivers.
I thought it was me for some reason. I thought, why is it getting dark in here?
It's just getting darker. I think there's just a lot of cloud cover, or possibly it's setting at Summit Point. So Noble at this stage.
This battle is sensational all the way up and down the field. Have a look at this gaggle of cars. This is crazy. I'm going to take it down to that, or I was going to take it down to Trigadigo, but now Baker's just passed him. And they're sharing it around. But I'll go to Baker anyway so that we can see that battle coming in the next lot of cars.
Right on board with David Gallo at this stage with the driver's eye view. We can see the battle intensifying ahead of him with Lavery, Noble, Hodgkinson as well. Great run from Gallo through turn 2. And now down through 3 and 4 towards the braking zone at turn 5. He's got Bartish hot on his heels. McAvoy's over the radio. Something's happened, it seems.
Ooh, car 65 has got a black and white warning flag for not leaving racing room in the final quarter. That was Cam Hardwick, but Cam has just set the fastest lap of the race in the last lap of 1:19.815. So he is on fire down there. Bottom screen, you can see the boys fighting there. That's Baker. It was Baker Byrne, but these guys have gapped it. Trigadago, Cam Hardwick, Johnson.
To be fair, Sinker, when there's about 12 cars in a single line, it's hard to pick another battle out there.
It is. These guys are doing really well, though. They've caught the back of Daniel Byrne, who's making his way through, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, so not a bad little battle there at all. An important one there is that Kevin Wakefield had a drive-through, and Greggy Johnson is 1 second behind... 1.5 seconds behind Anthony Trigadigo, so he needs to get a wriggle on. He needs to finish the top step tonight, and then that will change the championship a little bit more towards his favour, with Kevin going through the drive-through. He's down in 21 places at the moment, so that total fight is going to open up a little bit.
Oh my God, I thought Bartish was about to just send Gallo there. So that's make a point.
They get very brave across there, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
They're taking a lot of liberties on that curb. Yep. I'd be a bit scared. This breaking point here, I've been watching them come through, and there've been a couple of guys that got really, really close on that breaking point to each other.
Look at this train of cars. I mean, it's ridiculous how close they can be. The point I was going to make before nearly, puckering myself to death there was Kyle Lavery. Do we think that Mitch Noble lets him go knowing that Lavery has a championship to fight for and needs to try and maximise points while Houghton's not here?
No.
Fair enough.
It's not in Mitch Noble's gene pool. They'll be they won't even be thinking about it right now. They'll be just racing and having fun. They'll be in the same. They are in the same chat. Let me have a look at the boys and racing together. Yeah, Lavery is in there with Josh King. I think Josh is probably spotting for them at the moment, or he's left the session. He was having problems with the download too. So it will be interesting to see how that goes through.
So Gallo now putting pressure on Kyle Lavery up towards turn 2. Side by side they go. Oh my God, it is. Yeah, knowing how tight this track is, Cinco, it's wincing. That's what I'm feeling right now. Every time I see them go too wide through there, it's ridiculous.
So at this point, my team orders would be Mitch, let Lavery through and block Gallo as much as you can and give him the positioning. Oh, Tyler Sheaf, whoever he was involved with said apologies there.
Yep. With Chris Tomlin, what's happened? Oh, he caught the grass, tried to get on the brakes, and then Tomlin got
that's what Tyler was talking.
drilled.
I thought I heard Tyler's voice.
And you see,
he's on the grass. He was a passenger, and he's hit. He's trying to readdress it. He has,
no,
but I don't think that's going to help him.
I don't think he was actually trying to readdress. I think he was just waiting for the traffic. He didn't want to pull out in front of them. But a sigh of relief for Ryan Price, because he was nearly caught up in that sinker. That was his life almost flashed before his eyes at that point. Because if we find this, where is it? Here we go. This is where Pricey passes Tyler. As he comes down into the braking zone, Tyler's on the grass. There's Chop right in front of him, and hello.
Whoa. Yeah, trading pace is updated. All mine are updated on my end as well. Unless he's having an issue at his end. Mine
constantly gets updated, so I'll update it again and see if that fixes it. It should fix it. I mean, I called a race with Mark Gennett a few weeks ago in this series, so should be up to date.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just opened it, Sinker. It says all files up to date.
Very, very quietly sitting in behind bar 2.
He's just slowly poking his way forward, I think, Sinker.
Yeah. Well, he's sitting in 4th place, so at the moment he needs points on Lavery and Gallo to get himself up into 3rd place for the title. They're both ahead of him. Gallo is just past Lavery at some point not too far ago. We must have missed it. But still some important points there. Especially without Josh here tonight.
Yeah, it really takes a little bit of pressure off, but still it is maximum pressure. Car 8 drive-through penalty for that contact, so Tyler Sheaf, unfortunately, will have to traverse through the lane for himself after making that mistake, but, you know, hey.
I was just saying, Sheafy. Daniel Byrne up 10 places, so he would be, it's pretty good, but he'll be disappointed with where he's sitting at the moment. Baker as well. He'd be disappointed where he's sitting as well, with 16 places up, with a 1:19.582 fastest lap at the moment.
Oh, what has happened with Mark Cochran? He's off the road. And I think there might have been contact with Callan Hodgkinson, possibly. Because he dropped some spots too, but it might have been evasive action from Hodgkinson.
Oh, it's cost Cochran a lot of spots.
No, there was contact. As minor as it was, it's caused Cochran to go around.
You know what this is going to happen now? I'll tell you what's going to happen right now. This is a title pivotal moment, because what's going to happen is Callan Hodgkinson is going to get a drive-through. Hardwick, Cochran has dropped down behind Pricey too as well, so this is going to be very, very interesting in the title fight, I'm telling you right now.
Oh, so they're getting tied into turn 1.
Yep, so there was 29 points difference between Pricey and Callan. Oh, Pricey needs to get a wriggle on, mate. Wriggle on, because if Callan gets a drive-through, oh, what is it, 4 points or 6 points? I can't remember.
It's 3 for a for a feature.
For a feature, 3. So there's going to be close to 10 positions. That'll be enough to get Pricey ahead of Callum Hodgkinson for the title fight. If you can get 10 positions gap between him, that'll be spectacular for him. That's not including the first the actual first heat.
Well, I was about to say Callum would need a drive-through. He wouldn't actually need a pit. I was going to say if Callum pits, could he make it home? But that makes no sense, because he actually needs to come through the lane anyway for the drive-through if he gets one. Oh, it's looking spicy. It's looking spicy, Sinker. I think it doesn't help Cam Hardwick at this stage as Bartish comes into pit lane. Car 028 drive through penalty. So Callan Hodgkinson is going to have to come through the lane. And for Pricey, he's going to have to get a wriggle on.
He's just passed. Bartush has gone into pits.
He's gone in pits.
Is that an early pit for strategically? That's a question.
Oh, I don't know, but Cochrane, Bartish, Tomlin, Trejigo, Baker, and Sheaf all in pit lane. Sheaf lightly committing to his drive-through. Ron Allen is also in as well. That was an interesting way that that car pulled up.
30 minutes left. That's a 30-minute stint on
25, Sinker.
25. Yeah, sorry, 25 with the tyres, which is not really going to be that bad. Maybe down near the back end it will be, but fuel-wise, look, it's not probably not a bad thing. But at the moment, I'd go for track position. And that is a really good position for Pricey at the moment.
For Pricey, he needs to push on. The problem that he'll face is if Callan tries to come in and then gets on fresh tyres to cut down the loss. So for Pricey, he either needs to counteract and come in when Callan does for Cal's pit stop, not for his drive-through, which he comes in for now. So for Pricey, he needs to now push on for as long as possible just to try... And this is only if he can keep the pace up, just to try and push this gap out as much as he can. Not only position-wise, but time-wise as well. If he can get into the better strategy...
coming out of the pit now. Where is he coming out of?
He's
on the bottom
Pricey,
screen.
So he's at P11. Pricey's P7, so that's, 4 positions? So 12 points. As Byrne gets past, that makes it 9 points. So for
still
Mr.
very,
Whippy
very
there,
interesting.
Yeah, very
15
interesting.
points of difference gap at the moment, so we'll see how that all goes
That'll
for him.
extend when they both need to make their pit. Oh, no, it won't extend, actually, because this is now a real-time position, because neither of them have had a pit stop. So
correct.
He needs more, does Ryan Price. He needs Cal to end up further and further back. And, in fact, an off-track for Cal is going to hurt him, but he keeps it going. So I wonder, actually, if the longer this race goes on, obviously, Cinco, if the drivers are actually going to be at more danger of getting up to that 17X, because there's been a lot of track extension tonight. And that'll only be chewing up the points.
We don't see that. iRacing needs to pull their finger out. That should be something on our timing screen that we see here.
We can see off-tracks on the timing, but we can't see incidents.
On the timing tower?
Yeah, well, we can't see incidents.
Yeah, I want to see incident points. That's what would be more interesting.
So we can see off-track points, but not incident points.
Yeah,
so
correct.
For example, Hodgkinson is on 3 off-track points, but you can add 4 for the contact.
Dougie Cowan's into the pits. Trev Mortimer following him.
So they're both in. So everyone's now started to spread out as we are into pit stop period. Sam Katakazinis has got himself a nice gap at the front of the field. He's cruising on towards possibly a win for himself in the Velocity Sim Labs here this evening. David Gallo trying to chase him down with Mitch Noble.
Gallo's got pressure
Kyle
from
Avery.
the Team RSRW boys, Mitch Noble and Kyle Avery. But his teammate, Daniel Byrne, has got himself back up into a decent position. He's slowly been catching these boys. His last lap was about 6/10 faster than Lavery and Noble. I think at this point, Lavery is being slowed down a little bit by Noble.
I would agree.
He's a couple of tenths faster, so ideally they should be rotating it at some point and getting Lavery some distance. Maybe through the pits would be the ideal position. Switch it around and let Lavery get away with it and block off the
It's another contact with Sheafy and Tomlin at turn 2.
Oh, no.
Tomlin's kept going, though, so it might not look so bad, but then he's absolutely drilled Tony Baker into turn 5.
Oh,
multiple cars involved.
As well.
And the wheel is off.
That
Echuca
car is
Toyota
toast.
car.
Oh, look at that wheel. That is all over Red Rover, that car. He will be cursing.
If he can't get that back to pit lane, we may see a Warner Brown Tools AMG safety car out on track. Look at
the rear wheel in the air.
You know what? Four-wheel drive is hope
He's
and
on
pray
2
for
wheels.
that.
He's on 2 wheels. He thinks he's driving a motorbike.
Well, I was going to say four-wheel drive is hope and pray for that sort of flex, Sinker. Why buy a four-wheel drive when you can get another Toyota car like an 8.6 and get that sort of flex for yourself? But that thing is absolutely cooked, and it has been demolished by.
How far away from pits is he?
Oh, he's got the back straight, so he probably could make it.
He's been asked to
steering.
He's been asked to tow because he's too slow, and his question was, can I try to make it back to pits? And there was no reply. So I'm assuming that he's not too far back from the pits. As long as he
got the
doesn't,
back straight. He's got to get down the back
straight.
straight.
He's allowed to limp through. There's no rule saying he can't limp through, as long as he's not endangering anyone. And there he is. He's made it back to the pits on 2 wheels, because that back rear tyre, as you can see it, is in the air.
Because the front left is hanging out of the wheel well at the moment.
Yep.
Wow.
What a way to travel back to the pits. Meanwhile, Sam Kutikazinos is extending his lead to 3 minutes 97, almost there. He's just clocked it into the 4 minutes. Mitch Noble and Lavery are hunting down David Gallo. So they're hunting for the last 2 positions for trophy bound. And Daniel Byrne has backed off a little bit of pace. No, he's still 5/10 faster than the boys every lap, but he seems to have lost some pace somewhere, because he was a lot closer before.
There might be some lap traffic that might be the answer to that question, Sinker. He is just in behind Greg Johnston at the moment. This is now giving a hell of a lifeline to Kevin Wakefield, who's now once again ahead of Johnston through all of that happening. For Jono, he's not carrying too much damage in that car, but the ego's definitely probably been damaged a little bit by that. Maybe some frustrations come out too. Completely understandable to be an innocent bystander in a moment like that. Cam Hardwick has now got Callan Hodgkinson hot on his heels. Hodgkinson has got 3 positions between him and Ryan Price, so 9 points would separate them in this race. That would then take the gap down to 17 leading into next week.
And Kevin has lost places to Trigger Dago.
We also have to do the math, Sinker, on how many points Price actually lost to Cal in race 1.
Yeah, I don't know how many.
He finished 11 positions back, so it was 22. So if it's 26 coming into this race, it means the gap's actually out to 48, which then means that him gaining 9 takes it back to 31 points, or 31, something like that. So.
Yep. So he needs, get a wriggle on. Dougie Gowan just set the fastest lap for the 1:19.571, so he's back on fire. I think, here we go. Car number 8 has got himself a drive-through penalty.
There we go, Brad. It has fixed itself. I had to update my trading paint, so that's fixed that issue. Thank you for pointing it out. Yeah, so Sheafy has to come in for that contact with Chris Tomlin.
Yep. And there's Tradigo and Kevin Wakefield fighting each other. I'm not sure where Tradigo passed him. Their pits were pretty much the same. Kevin must have had an off or something at some point.
I know he's been through. Wakefield's been through pit lane for a drive-through, if you recall, earlier in the race.
Yeah, but a bit not too long ago, he was ahead of Anthony.
Yeah, because Anthony pitted on lap 11 and then Kevin pitted on lap 14.
Yep.
So that's why. Brad Mays is now in pit lane as well. 23 minutes into this race, so 17 minutes to go for these drivers. And for Sam Katakazinas, he is loving life at the front of the field. 3 seconds is the gap between him and David Gall at the moment. Drive-through penalty for car 8 for lap 14, car 84, or car...
turning car 3.
04.
Turning car 04.
So car 04, drive-through penalty, lap 14, turn 4 to 5. So that is going the way of...
Tony Baker.
Yeah, Tony Baker. So that would be the rejoin, I would say, maybe. But I don't think he'd be very happy with that, knowing that he got drilled and hit the wall. So we'll see. We'll see. Or he might have actually come out ahead of Chris, and then that may have caused him to drill him. I'm not sure. But they would have looked at it from every angle and really put a determination in properly for those penalties getting applied. Kim Hardwick is still hot on the heels of Cal.
Has made it all the way up to 6 seconds behind Ryan Price. Done really well. But Cam Hardwick as well has got himself all the way back up to 2/10 on Callum Hodgkinson. So the battle is going crazy. I'm going to switch the bottom screen, actually.
Cam's just coming to pit lane as well. So Cam's just
coming
in.
There you go. I was about to do that to Hardwick, but he's going in. I think he's a smart move there. He's going to undercut Ryan Price and Callum.
Oh, quite possibly. 5 seconds is a lot of time to gain in an undercut.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. In these cars, especially the supercar capable, I don't know if these cars are just based on their pace and the differential pace you can have. But it could cut down the time possibly. And for Pricey, I mean, he just has to try and get a solid pit stop in. You know, it's more or less he just has to try and get a solid finish and try and get this car up towards the top 4 and hope that Cal maybe drops back a little bit in the pit stop period as well.
Yeah.
We are lap 19, 25 minutes into this race. 15 minutes to go, Sinker. Trev Mortimer's now hot on the heels of Dan Bartish, just inside of the top 10 as well.
Yep. Gowans has just
Andrew
got the
saying,
fucking
but
again.
Andrew saying, but Callan hasn't pitted for fuel yet, has he? He just served a drive-through. He has just served a drive-through, but Pricey hasn't pitted either.
Pricey haven't pitted for fuel yet.
Neither of them haven't pitted. So this is their genuine positions as Hodgkinson comes in as well as Katakazinas. So that they're actually their genuine positions, Rushy. So for Ryan, he needs to hope that Cal has either made a mistake into pit lane and got himself a stop hold for speeding, or he just needs to push on and hope that, you know, Cal has a poor run in the rest of this race. So it's going to be tough. But I mean, realistically, Price has to try and make back up the 22 points that he lost in race 1, which at 3 points apiece is only 8 positions, Sinker, that he needs to get. And in fact, he'd gained 2 points off the back of that too. So
Daniel Bird. All right, these boys behind him have pitted. He's up 19 places. Spectacular effort. He's done really well to get back up to the top pointy end. But when he pits, he's going to lose at least 5 or 6 places at least.
Oh, maybe not, Sinker, because he's got about 21 seconds over Bartish and Mortimer. He may actually come out just in behind them, just ahead of Wayne Edwards possibly. So I mean, it might not be so bad as Gallo comes into pit lane. So if we look at this, actually, Katakazinas, who had a 5-second
Gallo
gap.
and Noble have gone in.
Yep, Burns in too. So, and Price is in as well. So Katakazinas lost 27 or 26 seconds to Gallo when he came into pit lane.
Screen at the moment.
So he should still be in the lead of this race. So Price
has gone in. Burns gone in.
So Katakazinas is going to come past with Doug Gowans in behind him. This has worked out incredibly well for Doug Gowans, actually.
Burns past Price in the pit.
Gallo's out ahead of them as well.
Yep. Yep, they've done a good fuel strat. They've saved some fuel, and they've done really well there.
So Cal has come out 1 position behind Pricey off the Exeter pit lane as Hardwick track extends as well in behind. So it's only now 3 points that Pricey is gaining over Hardwick. The big mover out of all this, though, is the fact that Doug Gowans has traversed his way by saving fuel in the first part of this race, only taking a 6.8 second stop on lap 13 to get up to now P3 on the road, but corrected order P2 behind Katakazinas with Gallo hot on their heels as well. So this has worked out in their favour across this period of the race.
Lavery's playing a tactical race here. He's gone in the pits now. I'll switch to Lavery, see where he comes out, because that will be the switch to everyone pitted. He's in the midst of it. Who is the biggest improver for 86s this season? Definitely Pricey. Pricey has been spectacular. Also, Dan Bartouche has lifted a level. He's gone from a medium pro to a very good pro. It's been very, very competitive all the way through. He's done an exceptional season. And Kyle Lavery has been up there and not about. His improvement has been good, but not as big as what Pricey's done.
No, I think Pricey's has definitely been the more impressive rise. I would say.
Gowans and Katakazinas side by side. Gowans is looking sprightly at the moment. He's got the run on the outside. Look at that. Oh, is that Daniel Byrne behind him?
No,
Gallo? It's Gallo.
That's Gallo. That's Sheafy who's
look at this over under. Don't get in the way, Sheafy. He's not giving it up just yet. Doug. Under brakes on the outside, too wide, looking very, very good, giving a lot of space to each other. Under brakes, as you see those noses dipping down nice and tight, coming through there. You got Gallo just sniffing his way behind, waiting for an opening to see if these boys touch. If anyone comes through with a touch, these Gallo's going to be straight through it. Gallo is tucking in. but Dougie has closed the door. What a spectacular bit of pace there.
So 10 minutes left in this race, and the top three separated by less than a cigarette paper at the moment. Gowans is up there with Katakazinas. Gallo's hungry for it as well. Wants it at the final corner for Doug Gowans. He wants to go 2 from 2 tonight at Summit Point Raceway. Katakazinas runs it wide. Gowans has the run down towards turn 1 and the favourable line on the inside as well.
Look at Gallo. Gallo is just sniffing his way in the back there, looking for an opening. Katakazinas has just closed enough of that door for him. Lavery's got into the back of these boys. This fight between them has opened up between 4 of them now, all within a couple of tenths. 2 tenths, Katakazinas. 1/1000th of Gallo. Lavery, 2 tenths. Look at this. Lavery's almost lost his rear end, how close he was from the backdraft.
So the top 4.
Gowans. Oh, look at this. Go!
The top 4.
This is what we've learned to love in this series. The last 5 and 10 minutes has been spectacular the last few weeks, and exactly like this, 5 cars nose to tail coming through corners at mega pace. Gowans has just said, what? No, that was before.
As they run down towards the back straight, we can see the pressure that is being applied to Doug Gowans at the front of the field. He's got 9 minutes to survive and do the double here tonight at Summit Point Raceway as they come round the final corner. So the pressure's on. It's a maximum pressure moments like this that make or break you as a driver. They make or break your season, and they can make or break your championship as well. And for Lavery, he'll be hoping that he can contain this positive position of P4 here tonight. Maybe even sneak it onto the podium as Gowans covers the inside line from Katakazinas and Gallo in behind him. Pressure's going to be on, though, for the next few minutes here, Sinker.
Very much so. These boys have all got to be very, very careful, because if one of them slips up, you want to finish with heavy points tonight. You don't want to finish with low points compared to these boys. You've got Gallo, Lavery, and Gowans all fighting for a title, all with some decent points around each other. So it's going to be a tight one. 17 points to Gallo, the back of Lavery. Gowans is 45. So Gowans has got the most to do out of these boys. He needs to finish in front of these guys as far as possible.
So Gowans, what can he do? We saw him have a breakthrough performance last night in the MOZA Racing Super Formula Championship. Took a win in the feature. He then backed it up with a win tonight in the sprint race to start things off here. He's got some immense pace in this GR86, but we know that Katakazinas has been with him tonight. We know that Gallo's got pace. We know that Lavery's got pace as well. It's how
Gallo
well can
is
they
on
survive.
fire. He is nipping at the toes there. He's holding back at the moment because he needs to get the run on, and he can't quite get the run on at the moment. Bottom screen fight is going crazy as well. We've got Dan Bartouche, Mitch Noble, Trev Mortimer, and Daniel Byrne going crazy in the bottom screen, side by side at the moment, with Mortimer and Byrne, and with Bartouche and Noble. Noble's got the nose down first. He's come through the corner. He's held him out
contact.
wide.
Bartouche is gone.
Bartouche is rotated. I'm not sure if there's contact or not, but Bartouche is going to be cursing. Ooh, let's see what race control says on that one.
So take a breath. We've got 7 minutes to go, or 6.5 minutes to go. Gowans has now started to break away from the 3 cars in behind him of Gallo, Katakazinas, and Lavery. Sheafy and Johnston are there for the ride. They're there for the probably best seat in the house at this stage. They've got a first-class ticket to the back end of this battle. For Lavery, he wants to try and solidify a positive performance tonight with Josh Houghton missing from this race meeting at Summit Point. For Katakazinas, he just wants to get some solid points on the board. The same goes for Gallo of Carlin's Motorsport. Gallo will be hoping to get this done, Sinker, to really do James proud for not being here tonight in the comms box. And for Katakazinas, he's doing it for the Greeks.
Mitch Noble's had an incident by look. No, Mitch Noble's gone through the pits.
So maybe carrying some damage, or he's giving himself a drive-through for the moment.
No, he's done a drive-through.
Yeah, he's probably giving itself to give the position back to Dan Bartish for the contact at turn 1.
Okay, he's done a drive-through on his own without the comms being sold. So, okay, he's accepted the responsibility. I'm not sure if that's going to help him or not. We don't have a... Here we go. Oh, he's gone through the pits, but there was no further action. They must have been both equally to blame.
See, this is
and
why.
Nick Noble,
This is so from a driver's perspective here, Sinker. This is why you don't commit to something unless you've been given it. So you don't commit to giving a redress. You don't commit to doing a drive-through unless race control give it to you.
Yeah, but you know what? I do admire Mitch's doing that because he's accepted. He thought he was his fault and he thought he'd take the blame for it. So
no,
you know
that
what?
was for the incident point limit actually, Sinker. So that wasn't even him being noble at all for his namesake.
Oh, really?
Because he's hit the incident point limit. So
Mitch Noble, here I am waving your flag and how noble that was.
Oh, well,
Mitch Noble, not so noble. That was a drive-through for points.
I think his name.
All right, well, he's got to do another one there, and that's destroyed his race for that incident. He will finish well down the field.
He's P10 actually, so he's not that bad. He's just back to where he was in race one.
Yeah, but still, it is what it is. Hopefully, he'll learn from it. The battle in the front going, Lavery is having a go at Kutakizinos at the moment, taking the outside line. Jeez, those boys scare me when they go for that dust. It doesn't seem to be rotating anybody, but it looks like it could any second.
Yeah, Tyson's just laughing at the fact that we thought that he was trying to be noble and then caught the NFA. But
shut up, Tyson. Put that ping pong ball back.
You know what though, Sinker? If RC were wanting to have a joke with him, a fantastic joke, commits to the drive-through, and then they just say, "Oh, well, NFA actually." Sorry for you doing that, but no.
Yeah, sucked in.
Yeah, sucked in.
Yeah, Lavery and Katakizinos having a bit of a toss again down here, being very, very close. Lavery knows he needs that podium points. He needs those extra points. He doesn't want Gallo and Gowans getting away from him. He needs to be right behind them to get maximum points, if not catch them. But we have got 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left, as the clock is just about to tick over to the 37-minute mark. And we have got probably, 2 laps left in us?
Yeah, no, maybe 3, actually. 37
side
minutes.
Side by side.
It's
Here
about
we
a
go.
minute
They're
20
going
per
for it
lap.
again. What's he got? Wheelchair racing.
He's disabled.
Disabled. Don't be that hard on yourself. Oh, Kutakizinos. Jeez, I still don't understand how they haven't rotated through there. Maybe that dirt is actually helping the rear red tuck back in.
I was going to say, they're front-wheel drive, and they probably don't carry enough pace through their Sinker, so...
These aren't front-wheel drive, mate. They're rear-wheel drive.
Okay, well...
Yeah, they're rear-wheel drive.
Well, still, they probably don't have enough pace.
Yeah, there's probably catching the rear end as they're coming through and holding him in there. Because it's sand, it's not really muddy or dirty. So if it was ruddy, I guess different story. But Kutakizinos now he's dropped to 1.89 off the back of Gallo. Gallo is caught up to Gowans. He's 4 tenths off the back of him, and Cole Lavery is sitting in the 2/10 mark. So we've got to fight for the top step and fight for the second step at the moment. I'm going to switch my camera to the front too, mate, and you can have, or vice versa. I'll go to these two, and you go to the front two. I'm gonna.
So Katakizinos covers the inside line. Car 235 drive-through penalty for incident point limit. That's gone the way of Brad Mays as well. So we question Sinker if the incident limit was going to be catching drivers out tonight. That's now 2 drivers who've had to come through the field.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Lavery was blinking at because he was side by side with Sam, and there's no way Sam could see it. Or either that he is getting excited because we're talking about him.
Like the old El Paso ads, Sinker, porque los dos. Why not both?
One of those. Oh, here we go. All right, so we've got some spectacular battles going. I'll tell you what, Gallo has shown some amazing form lately and pace, and he's just clocked the fastest lap time of a 1:19.406 as he hunts down Dougie Gowans in the final minutes of this race. Have we seen the white flag come out just yet?
It's this lap, Sinker, so white flag for Doug Gowans at the front of the field.
Here we go.
So there's a bit of lap traffic in between Katakizinos and Gallo. They get out of the way, of course, that being...
Gallo, he's been... Yeah.
Brendan Nealon. Oh.
That is some good racing there. They've opened it up again. Now Trev Mortimer's putting pressure on Daniel Byrne there for 5th and 6th place as well. So the battles are going on. You can just see them in the... No, you can't see the back end. The back end is a lapped car. Where is Lavery going to try to pass here? He's 2 tenths behind him. It doesn't look like he can pick a spot to get past.
I don't know if he can. I think his best moment was going to be turn 5, but he's nowhere near close enough to send it. He'd have to be alongside him for turn 4, and even then he'd probably wash out wide into the grass. So I don't think he can get it done unless it's a last corner dash.
He's got his singlet off. He's got his elbows out. He's got the guns going and glowing. He is down and going to go for it as hard as he can. He's holding him off. Look at Gallo. He's got himself close. Not close enough. He's got a bit of overlap. Here we go.
Drag race to the final corner. Gallo gets him. Gallo gets him in the end towards the start-finish line, and David Gallo of Carlin's Motorsport will take the win in race 2 tonight. Doug Gowans has run out of fuel. He's run out of fuel.
But right now, Lavery has just had a crack at...
He's gotten it. Lavery got the podium. Gowans ran out of fuel. He underfueled the car, trying to save it to the end. So Kanakazinas and Lavery get onto the podium. It's heartbreak for Gowans in race 2, who runs out of fuel before the line.
It was a punt he had to take, and it nearly worked. Good on him there. What a great race.
He was probably about 500 metres too short of fuel. Maybe half a litre would have gotten it.
It was a great effort, mate. It was a great effort. He did really well. All the way through it, and it was lucky for Lavery and Kanakazinas, because as they were crossing the line, there was a lap car, and Lavery went one way and Kanakazinas went the other way, and they finished 0.11 apart. So it was very, very close as they crossed the finish line.
It's ridiculous how close it can get.
Yeah. Well, Lavery was 2 tenths faster in that last lap, so he had that zoosh across the line, but not quite enough. Oh, wow. That was not... I think, you know what? Kanakazinos had a drive-through and still got his way all the way up to the top. That was spectacular.
Yeah, he got his drive-through in race 1 and then came back in this one. I mean, what a race.
Daniel Byrne up 18 places.
Phenomenal run. I mean, incredible run from him here tonight, but wowee.
And 717. Anthony Tredigo, Tyson, that's the one we want. Yep.
Tredigo, Mortimer, Lavery, Kanakazinas, and Gallo. So for Doug Gowans, it's heartbreak as the gamble did not pay off for him at Summit Point. For the others, they have worked it into their favour here this evening. We await our podium finishers to get into the green room to have a quick chat to us here this evening. Before that, though, we'll bring up our provisional race results of race 2. David Gallo takes the win ahead of Sam Kanakazinas, Kyle Lavery. For your podium, Doug Gowans, Daniel Byrne, the top 5, Trev Mortimer, Dan Bartish, Ryan Price, Callan Hodgkinson, and Mitch Noble make up the top 10. So Pricey only gained 3 points in race 2, Sinker. So it's a net loss of 19 points across the race tonight to put that gap up to 35 leading into round 8 between him and Callan Hodgkinson. Cam Hardwick, Mark Cochran, Anthony Tredigo will take the win of the AM class here this evening. Kevin Wakefield will finish inside the top 15 ahead of Ron Allen, with Wayne Edwards, Brad Mays, Brandon Nealon in behind them. As we move back to Greg Johnston, Tyler Sheaf, David Simmons, Steph Piccoli, Trav Nielsen, Chris Tomlin, Tony Baker, Brandon Sopar for the back end of the field. But we await our podium finishes. We've got Anthony Tredigo in there, ready to come and have a chat to us for the AM class win here this evening. Let's drag him in and have a quick chat to him. Anthony, great job this evening.
Yeah, thanks, bud.
I've got to assume that's your. Yeah, I've got to assume that was your intro soundboard.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
No, you're fine. You're fine, mate. I was showing all I heard was nerd alert. I'm like, okay, well, didn't need to get personally attacked on a podcast. But a great race from you tonight in the 717, a race win in the AM class for yourself. How was that one for you at Summit Point? It's a track that I know a lot of drivers that have a lot of laps at, since it is available in rookie class of MX5s. How'd you find it though on the GR86?
It's a relatively easy track to drive, but it's a bit hard to master. It's it's quite, I don't know, I struggle a little bit on the hardest part of the track. I personally think is getting into the pits. Can be a bit chaotic with that many cars on the track, but it's also, I don't know, nothing else like it either. I reckon it's good fun.
Mate, the title is still alive. Anything can still happen with the way internet's been going crazy and everything like that. So you finished ahead of Kev Wakefield tonight. So you got a couple of points up on him. He is 80 points ahead. So we know, we've seen it happen before, that it's always up to the last race, because internet goes, cars go, family incidents, real life gets in the way. So you're still in the title hunt, but sitting, I think you've got past Greggy Johnson today.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll be sitting in second position, which is not a bad going at all. What's the feeling like? You're going to go for it, flat stick? And
I'll go at it. I'll go at it hard out, mate. You know, I wouldn't mind the championship, but you know, he's a formidable opponent on the track. So I was lucky to get up on him this evening. So he's got that comfortable point lead. We'll just have to see how we go at Virginia and Charlotte. I'll be hot on his heels, that's for sure, mate.
Oh, yeah, Charlotte could be anything. Could be anyone's race. We don't know.
There's a lot of bump up in there, mate.
It's a full oval, and one incident at the front could take out half the field, and all of a sudden you could be leading by 30 places. So it's going to be up to the final whistle, mate. So it's looking pretty good. How is it, mate? It's your first season with us. Are you enjoying it?
Oh, loving it, mate. I'm looking forward to next season, seeing what can come from next season. If I don't get the win this year or this season, hopefully the next, you'll definitely see me around again. That's for sure.
Well, if Kevin wins it, he'll get promoted.
Oh,
so
well,
you might be in the box seat with fighting with the person that's missing tonight, who's been really, really good, is Brent Wassel. He's dropped a few places in the last few races, missing it, but it'll be Johnson and yourself fighting it out, I think. It's going to be an epic fight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, to be honest with you. We'll have to see how it all pans out. Anything can happen. You could be having a great race and it can turn into a measly race. So you never know. You can only plan for so much. So it's anyone's, really, at the end of the day. Anything can happen.
Yeah, this is very true, mate. So who helps you get on track, mate? Family, friends, any sponsors?
Mr. Peter Gretton mostly is my spotter this evening. Without him, I would have been a bit stuffed. He was hot on the controls for me to make sure that I could have my tyres sorted, my fuel sorted. I had a slight kerfuffle in one of the races and got the car repaired quite quickly thanks to his, expertise.
I noticed he wasn't out on track. It's a shame he wasn't out on track. He's been doing really well lately. He's been showing a lot of pace.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to him. He's been speaking about hopefully showing up for Virginia. He's had a little bit on it at the moment, unfortunately, from what I can hear. But he's always in the background, and if he's at Virginia, I'll be interested to see how he goes. But at Charlotte, the man is quite good around an oval. So if he's at Charlotte, he'd be the one to watch in the amateur class, to be honest with you. He'd be the one probably in P1 there.
Well, tell Mr. Gretton g'day from Sinker.
And
good luck for the rest of the season, mate. It's good to see the battles coming out there, and I'm sure the battle will continue between yourself and Kevin.
Well, definitely, mate. We'll have to happily get above him on the next two races. But if not, he's a great driver, so can only hope. Cheers, fellas.
Buddy. Take care.
Thank you.
And catch you next week.
Next up, we have P3 on the docket in Kyle Lavery.
No Mortimer.
He's not in there to have a chat to us. So, unfortunately, the Pro-Am winner misses out on a chat, it seems. Mr. Lavery, P3 on the road tonight, thanks to Doug Gowan's deciding to not carry a jerry can with him in his car. And you get yourself up into a positive position here tonight. I mean, P4 would have been a solid chunk of points, but P3, just that little bit better, getting you an extra 3 points on the docket. How does it feel to get that one done, and how is this race for you? Because me and Singer are on the edge of our seats for that battle the last 10 minutes with the top four for a period of time.
Mike on, Kyle? Hello, Kyle. Mr. Lavery, come on down.
How's that?
That's it, mate. That's it. Mate, you're giving me palpitations here. You and bloody Mitch driving along. Just next time, look, swap places. Let him block for you. Get up there and catch the rest of them. He's in no position to win a title. Team orders, all right? Got it?
Got it. He was quick though. He was quick today. So
He was, but you were faster than him, mate. You had lap after lap. I could see you were backing off and holding off because he was braking in different places. So you would have broken off and got some pace on him and opened up the gap. But you know what? Great bit of driving. Some very, very important points, mate. No Josh Horton tonight, so I'm not sure exactly how many points he's lost. But the race between yourself and Gallo, very, very important.
it's very close, yeah.
Yeah, he's only 17 points behind you. So Horton has opened up that race tonight. I'm not sure how many points he'll lose, but that'll bring him very much closer to you boys. How did it feel out there tonight? There was that one little S before the end where the sand is on the right-hand side. Was that gripping up the back end, helping you get through the little flat chicane?
You mean
this point right on screen right now?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, that one, that corner there is pretty lenient with the runoff. You can see those tyre marks. You won't get a 1X unless you've got half the car in the sand, pretty much. So I think there's just a couple different lines there, and it depends on your setup. Like, if you're running a stiffer spring, taking the curb on the inside will push you wide, but if you've got a softer spring, you can kind of take the curb. So there's trade-offs there. I was finding it's one of those corners. It's a bit between gears. If you got toe, fourth is great, but if you haven't got toe, third might be a bit better. So it's kind of hard to just get the muscle memory down on that one. So I don't know where I was gaining time. I think the last corner was the most important one on the track because most of the overtakes were happening at T1. So you needed the speed to either defend or attack there. So it was really all about setting it up there. And you probably saw me trying to get around Sam the last few laps, trying to set it up on that last corner every time, and just didn't quite have enough to pull through and get around him. But we had a bit of a drag race to finish, and it was really good fun.
You also had a blue flag car that parted you both there, and I was like, these guys going to hit this dude or what?
It was good fun. Every lap. It was interesting because I didn't hit quali very well. I think I was 10th, and I was down on pace on a bunch of the other guys. So my strategy was a bit underwhelming. I just thought I'm just going to sort of sit here and keep it tidy. And in that first race, I think I got 4 or 5 positions just from other people crashing out. So paid off. And then I got a decent start for the feature race. And I think Mitch and I working together worked out pretty well in the end because I could go an extra lap. I saved a bit of fuel by just sitting behind him. So that might have made the difference in letting me catch up, because I think when I come out of pits, I was behind the lead 3 with only about a second gap. And I think when I went into pits, I had about 2.5. So yeah, I don't know. Something worked. I don't know what. So it's going to be hard to replicate, but it was fun either way.
Yeah. Well, 2 more races to go, mate. Still in the total 5. Not sure where Josh is tonight. He's probably at the GP. Do you remember who helps you get on track and supports the team SRW Motorsports?
I do. SRW, obviously. We've got Orange and Brown Tools, MOZA, Grimm, Shannon's. We've got PPD Phoenix and Shunts, and Cooler Master. So big thanks to all the sponsors getting us out here.
Excellent work, mate. Well, good luck for the rest of the season. The title fight is still alive. Mr. Munro, anything else you want to ask before we boot him out of the room?
No, I think you wrapped it up pretty well there, Sinko. So best of luck for the final couple of rounds, Kyle. I'll be watching intently from the sidelines to see how you go in this championship battle.
Thanks, guys. Hopefully I'll speak to you next week.
Take care, brother.
See you guys.
Next
Alrighty.
up, we have P2 on the road tonight, Sam Katakazinos of the Velocity Sim Labs. Yeah. Sam, a positive couple of nights for you. Last night on the podium for the MOZA Racing Super Formula Championship. Tonight on the podium for the Shannon's Insurance Toyota GR86 Nationals as well. What an effort from you to get those jobs done 2 nights in a row. Congratulations.
Thank you. I really thought I was going to get something very good with the feature race, clearing out everyone, but then dawned with the realization that I'm not hitting the 19s or being as fast as the other guys. So they were slowly catching me up, and it became a nice tight race towards the end, which was fun. Wish I was better and kept it up front, but with the thanks for the help of Dougie running out of fuel at the end of the race, I got to get a second. So I'll take that. No problem.
Mr. Casinos, tikanis kala?
Kala, katakuzinos.
Ah, good. Hey, mate, some spectacular racing from you. You had your moment of drive-through, but some really, really close stuff in there. You're looking pretty sharp. I think you've turned around the last few weeks, mate, and showing some spark again.
I wasn't around for the last few weeks. I've not been racing for the last few weeks. I've not been all that well. So
hang on, did you race last week?
No, I don't
Was the
think
week
I've
before?
raced. There's been a few weeks where I.
Well, you've done really well the last few weeks, mate. You've really impressed me.
The last couple of days, yes, I'm back on and feeling a bit more refreshed and alive and ready.
Season, anyway, you've done really well. You've improved a lot of pace and getting at the pointy. And when you are on track,
Yeah.
Are you getting some practice in? Are you boys all getting together? There's no De Bono tonight, so the flag was left for you to wave.
De Bono was out. Yeah, he wasn't attending today. Don't know why, but wasn't in Discord, wasn't in the session. For me, yeah, I've been adjusting myself, and when I say that, I mean ergonomically in the seat, in the cockpit, and making some changes. And I'm seeing some improvement, but I need the consistency. Like twice I hit 19s, but mulling around in the low 20s, and I look after the race and during the race and see everyone else who's not in a draft doing 19s, and I'm like, somewhere, somehow, some combination of things I'm not maxing out to get the best time. So
Do you
I'm
reckon
always
it might be
looking for
just
that.
too much going on your screens?
You reckon?
Mate, might be. Sometimes you might try to just simplify things a bit, go back to the bones, and see what it does as a perspective sort of look to see what. I mean, the rotating of the car, sometimes a lot of it comes out of the visual as well. Like you can see the track moving as well, not just the seat of the bum feel, so to speak. But it could be something like that, Sam. It might be something worth trying. I've seen how busy your screens are. I would give it a crack a race and see what happens.
See, in my career in IT, numbers is what I breed on, and so being like a data analyst, looking at numbers is fine.
But it might be what might be the difference between your focus. Take the focus off the numbers and focus on the track.
I don't believe you. I think it's my ergonomics. I really do.
I just want to point out, Sinker, you're saying this to Sam when Sam has taken race wins with that much stuff on his screen.
No. But it's not about that. Sam's talking about taking it to the next level. So the position of the eyes and where you're looking, not in the corner you're at, but the next corner you're coming up to. So the fastest drivers aren't looking at the car in front. They're looking at the next corner already. And that's one thing that could be slowing Sam down. So if you look at someone like Warboys, he's not looking at the corner he's in. He's looking further ahead. So the faster guys are looking a lot further ahead than the corner at the apex. So they don't look at the apex they're touching. They're looking farther ahead. And Sam's screens could be hindering that. And that could be a couple of tenths there.
I don't know about that.
Simple. Yeah, it's true. What do you mean you don't know about it? It's true. That's how they race.
I don't know how data can have anything to do where Sam's looking on the screen.
No, but his data is on the screen in front of his eyes. He's got it plastered in front of him. He's got transparencies going. So this is where it is. So he's not seeing the corners as he's coming through as clear. That's my perspective. But, I could be wrong, Sam, but I would give it a go, mate, to be totally honest.
Hamish?
Yes?
One day you're going to teach me or show me this video ninja thingy-majiggy? Because I'd really like to have people see or get bewildered, which is the most common response.
Very bewildered.
People
will be going,
of what it looks like on my screen when I'm driving. And I think sometime you said that you'd like to see the driver, so I'll need some tips or have a chat with you about that. I'd really like to do that. I want to try that, but yeah. Not tonight.
We can try and help
Not
you
tonight,
get set
Hannah.
up with that, Sam. That's fine.
Yes, we can. Mr. Kudakazinos.
Thank you.
Vlaka, tell me who brings you here and supports you.
Did you just call me Malaka?
No, I said Vlaka, not Malaka.
I don't know. Pretty close.
Watch it back. You will hear distinctly.
Pretty close.
Vlaka.
Trying to sneak one in there.
Come on, mate.
Who brings me here is Velocity Sim Lab.
That's it.
The boys from the team, always helpful for this old man to try and keep himself fast. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Haikoki Power Tools, and the Barber Republic in Sydney. Also, Here to Race YouTube channel. I'd like to thank you guys, the series and broadcast, for putting this stuff together and making a show of it, and all the boys that come along and have a go at this, because that's what makes it fun, having the numbers that arrive each week and make this a great series to be in.
Well, thank you very much for that. Have a good one, and best of luck for the rest of the season. When is your Easter?
Oh, what? Don't know. I have to.
Early April?
I don't know.
Oh,
I have to ask my mum. She's a source of knowledge for that stuff.
All right, mate. Get out of here. All the best for the rest of the season. Lots of fighting to be had, mate. Lots of points to be won. And it's good to see you at the pointy end again, mate. Good luck, and thank you for entertaining us as usual.
I appreciate it. I did have fun tonight. Thank you. Oh, also,
Cheers,
if anyone's into like a professional with ergonomics or something, and can help an old man sitting in a seat and what he could do to improve his posture, with
There is a YouTube. There's a YouTube video, mate. Someone will put it in chat, where an actual GT3 racer talks about positioning, point of perspective, POV, everything, positioning, seating, the whole lot. I'm sure one of the boys will put it up in the chat. If not, I'll reach out to you, and if I can find it, and send it to you. And it's awesome. It sits back and tells you about all your ergonomics and how you sit, feet positions, back positions, steering wheel positions, hand positions, everything. So yes, we will do that for you, Mr. Kudagazinos.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, brother.
Have a good
Take
night,
care.
everyone. Good evening. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Next up, we have P1 on the road from Carlin's Motorsport. David Gallo, P1 on the road here this evening. David, return to form to you and a win on the trot at Summit Point Raceway. How did it feel to get that one done for yourself?
Evening, gents. Yeah, pretty happy. Sort of coming into it and doing practice at the earlier in the session. I didn't know where to sort of make some moves, but me and both Daniel got our heads around it and made some positions up, and yeah, happy with the finish.
Now, how was that race for you? I mean, I know that Daniel had a bit of a struggle in race one, got caught up in a moment with Sam, and that then dropped him a heap of spots. What about yourself? You're up the front the majority of the way, battling, in some great battles, and then you get to the final 10 minutes of race two, and all of a sudden the top four are separated by barely anything. Not only what was going through your mind, but how was it dealing with that pressure throughout those battles in this race?
Yeah, I think at the start, sort of everyone was bottled up. It was sort of we were contemplating early on to do a pit stop and just break away from it all, but it was way too early. So, yeah, unfortunately, Daniel got caught up there and had to make his way through, which I think he finished P5, so he was happy with that. But it was interesting. Yeah, it wasn't hard when everyone's sort of too wide through that first sector. You sort of just got to sit back and hope someone steps wide to make that move. And then towards the end there, it was. I sort of got around, I can't actually recall, but got into sort of second position chasing Sam and sort of slowly making ground back, and then pitted, obviously. And both Sam and Doug sort of slingshot me. So Doug obviously pitted earlier, threw a spanner in the works there towards the end. And it was interesting all the way through, really. Yeah.
Now, looking ahead to the final couple of rounds, David, of course, we've got the Charlotte Oval course to end out the season in a couple of weeks' time, but Virginia next week for the North course for a super sprint coming our way. What's your thoughts leading into those rounds? How are you feeling going into those final two rounds, especially with Charlotte being undroppable for the Oval and where all hell could break loose? Are you feeling prepped for those two rounds, and have you done much Oval prep for the final round just to get sort of used to that style of racing?
I've not turned an Oval lap in iRacing whatsoever, so I might have to do a couple of NASCAR laps to get prepared for that one, but I'm looking forward to next week, that's for sure, and I might have to put a few in for the final round too.
I think the way you guys drive as a team, you guys are going to be absolutely deadly once you get a head around it, because you guys are the only team pairing that are sort of sitting at the front end of the grid. So I'm expecting something special from you boys, being able to take each other's draft and work as a team through there. The rest of the boys are all missing teammates at the top end, so you guys will have a bit of an advantage at the Oval.
Yeah, well, hopefully if we can keep it together and quality together and stay clean and not get tied up in anything, we should be right. Like Daniel ideally should have been up with me tonight, but obviously got caught out there in the first race. But if we can stay together and work together, especially at that last round, and it'll be handy, that's for sure.
Well, no Josh Horton tonight, so that's opened up the title to yourself, Kyle, and Josh. So it's going to be interesting. The next two races, mate, could be pivotal. Could be very pivotal, because we know Josh's internet isn't always the best as well. He could flick out and disappear on us. It could completely change. So it could be up to the last race. The Oval could be the race to take the title.
Yeah, could be interesting, especially with the iRacing update now with the packet loss. Yeah, he might be interesting for him with some internet issues, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Well, mate, who gets you on track and supports the Carlin boys?
Yeah, cheers, gents. So Carlin's Motorsport, Driver 808 on YouTube and TikTok, Glam Raider, Little Rara, and Eagle Automotive.
Excellent, mate. Well, all the best from me and Hamish. Good luck for the rest of the season. 2 rounds to go. Anything can happen, and congratulations on today's podium.
Yeah, cheers, gents. Thank you.
Well, at the Dying Emma single, we've got Trev, who's...
I know, I just saw him pop up.
For his chat. So
this is his cherry popper tonight too.
Well, we'll have a quick one with him. He might have had some troubles trying to find us. Trev, at the very end, you managed to find the green room. Congratulations on your Pro-Am win here this evening. How was that race for you? It looked pretty intense out there from the comms box, but how was it in the car?
Awesome, man. All these guys that race in this league are just epic races, man. I spent 3 years just racing official races before I even found leagues. And the class of racing is it's chalk and cheese compared to the officials, mate.
So I'm gathering you're enjoying every minute.
Mate, it's the highlight of my week on the Thursday night race room. It's awesome stuff, man. And the format's really good too. Having to do a pit stop and stuff like that. It's cool.
That's good to hear, mate. It's good to hear. How did you feel out there on track tonight? Because there was a lot of pace around you, and you did really, really well, mate. To finish, was it 60 finish finally, Hamish? I think it was, yeah, 6th.
Yeah, definitely inside of the top 10. If I have a quick look. Yeah,
it looks like 6. Yeah,
P6.
Yeah,
so
P6.
Only 2 spots down where you started, Trev, as well, which realistically is
from the reverse top 10. Yeah.
So it's a 2-spot gain from race 1 into race 2. So that's a hell of an effort.
Yeah, I think I had a little incident on the first corner, and I got bumped out a bit, and the pack just mauled me. It was awesome, but just managed to hang on to him and catch back up to him. But at the end I was with Daniel Byrne, and he was racing really good. I just wasn't too sure where I was in the Pro-Am standings. I didn't think it was wise to sort of push him because he's in the pros. I don't know what he's doing in the championship, how high up he is or whatnot. I'm still new to a championship even, so it's cool. So cool, man.
It's I'm just having a look to see points wise. You're sitting in 10th place, so you're having a half decent. I think you joined us late too, didn't you?
Yeah, I missed the first race, and then I tried to get into it like an hour before. I just found it that day, and I rushed, but I couldn't get it, and then I missed it. I sat down and watched the stream, and I was like, oh, I can't wait for the next week. So next year, next season, I'm looking to sharpen up the livery and get a little bit more used to the comm side of things.
No, you'll be right, mate. It takes a bit. Look, coming from officials, it takes a bit of time to get used to the drivers around you, the pace, all the new rules that you got to do, and things you got to do for towing and everything like that. So there's a little bit to get used to, but I think once you settle down, mate, you've shown some early pace, and you got yourself a podium tonight's your cherry popper. Tonight's your first podium, isn't it?
Yeah, mate. I'm wrapped.
Yeah. Excellent, mate. Excellent. Well, first season out of officials into SRW, and you got your podium at round 7. So congratulations, dude. You got any sponsors, or want to thank any family or anyone that supports you to get out here?
My missus bought me the sim rig thing. I wanted a go-kart, but she got me the sim rig thing for my 40th. So thanks to her for getting it. And Action Tow Bars, that's my brother's company. They're mobile tow bar fitters. So thanks very much, guys, and I look forward to next week.
All right, mate. Good luck. Thanks for popping in the room. You know where to come next time. And good luck for the rest of the season, dude.
Yeah, man. All good. Thank you.
Cheers, brother.
I was thinking that'll
Well,
bring
Hamish.
it'll bring an end to our show tonight, of course. Well, what a
Yes,
night
it
of
will.
racing. I mean, door-to-door action, which we love to see. The tin tops on display to absolute perfection. And we so appreciate everyone that's joined us here this evening as well for tonight's show. So if you have joined us and you haven't done already, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell icon as well. If you haven't done so, we're so close to 1,500 subscribers. We can almost taste it.
Taste it.
So please support the series by subscribing to the channel. It helps give us support, helps us drive us forward, and helps reach more sim racing fans out there so we can continue to provide such fantastic racing week in and week out. We have to give a big shout out, of course, to our series sponsors, Warren & Brown Tools, our title sponsors of the Tuesday Night Via Supercars Series, the Sunday Night Via Supercars Championship, MOZA Racing for coming on board this season to support the Wednesday Night Super Formula Championship, and Shannon's Insurance for their support of the Thursday Night Toyota GR86 Nationals. We so appreciate all those companies coming on board as title sponsors, as well as the other supporters of the series as well, Shunt Scenery, Groom Industries, home of the V8 Coffee Table, which can be found on Prime Video's Top Gear Australia, and to Phoenix Driver Development. Be sure to message PDD on Facebook or hit up Rehan Leonage or Laz Leonage on Discord if you're after some private training sessions inside the supercar, or you need some setups as well. They'll be sure to try and find you guys a time slot or a setup that'll suit your needs. But I've been Hamish Rondo with Steve Sinkovic alongside once again. This has been round 7 of season 1 of 2025 of the Shannon's Insurance Toyota GR86 Nationals. We look forward to seeing you guys next time as we go racing at Snetterton for the Warren & Brown Tools V8 Supercars Championship this Sunday night. You guys will want to come and check it out as some of the fastest drivers in Australia traverse one of the toughest circuits on the iRacing service. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
This is amazing. It was clash heads again. This is like Chaz Mostyn and Cam Waters. Almost the same situation. Better contact going down the hill. Sam Noble wants to snip on Dave Coleman now. Sam Noble